Okay. Hey. Sorry, I'm just starting up the my stream now. Nenda Bulin, is that how you say your name? Wait there, just making sure that this is all working. Excellent. Thanks for waiting all day. If you've waited a whole day, that's great. You were the guy yesterday who okay, cool, of course, but who pointed out that I there was no sound on my system, and I was quite annoyed about that, obviously. But you know, it's the first time I've made a mistake since I think my third stream. So okay. Anyway, what I'm going to be doing this time round is, in some ways, it's kind of a good thing because my last stream. Yeah, thanks for telling me as well. It did help. My last stream. What happened there? In my last stream, I was obviously I was working with Aerith trying to get her final limit break, and I did that. But I spent a lot of time, like nearly maybe 2-3 hours doing that. And I think in the big picture, I don't want to be kind of streaming, grinding. I don't think that's really what I want to be doing. So in many ways, having deleted the original part 10, which obviously half of it there was sound, the last half there wasn't. I took a break, turned the sound off, came back, and I forgot to turn the sound back on. So there's still a few things that I'm learning how to do. Anyway, so because of that mistake, there has been a slight loss of a very tiny loss of gameplay, but it is kind of pivotal as well. So I want to talk about it. It's it's where Aerith. What we got to in the last scene was we got to the hotel, and that's what's in part 9. And we got to, yes, where Aerith comes, and Aerith actually came instead of Tifa. Aerith takes us to the, and that's my pizza coming, or our pizza coming. That's my housemate, by the way, in the background. Hi. You're gonna get something to drink, Nandobulin. Can I please wait? What? Well, I got a pizza coming, but you know, I'm still talking. But you know, if you have any questions, you can ask me. You know, again. But what I want to do is just kind of refresh on what happened with Aerith. Obviously, Aerith took us out to the Gold Saucer, out to we went to the little play that you take. Cool. Thanks for coming back. The little play where you take part in the little sort of pantomime sequence, and then she takes us to the what's called Round, which is the gondola ride. And on the gondola ride, obviously she's, you know, we're just peering out the window, looking at things, but then she gets to us the point that she's, you know, trying to search for you. That is Cloud. She's searching for you. And then, you know, Cloud was, well, I'm right here. And Aerith then said, but no, I want to meet you. And my point about that is, and I made this yesterday, but I have to repeat it again, and it's a shame. And of course, I can't play the scene because that's what we got past. Is that Aerith believes that, obviously she knows that something's not quite right with Cloud. She knows that the Cloud that she's seeing isn't the true Cloud. And that, of course, I don't think she knows fully what's going on, but she has a sense. She's very, obviously, she is sensitive to these things. And I think if anyone's going to get it, it's going to be Aerith. And basically, yeah, she knows that, yeah, I think it was just trying to get across to Cloud. Of course, she can't, I think maybe she knows more than she was letting on, but she didn't want to kind of break Cloud. Same with Tifa. Tifa knows something is wrong, but neither one of them want to kind of break Cloud at the moment, because they know if they say what they think is the truth, then I think it's gonna, obviously Tifa knows more explicitly something's wrong, because she was there at Nibelheim 5 years ago, but Cloud, she didn't see Cloud. Not that she knew Cloud was there as a Shinra soldier. But Aerith can feel that whoever he is right now is not the real guy. So anyway, of course it was a pivotal scene. I was happy that I got it and that I made it so that happened. You know, that, I think it's basically about asking her, you know, first, you know, speaking to her first during scenes, making sure she's in your party at key scenes. For instance, I think at Cosmo Canyon, it matters maybe if you choose her to join you in Red 13, into the cave, then I think that might help as well. I can't say for sure. I'm not an expert on that point. But anyway, so where it skips now, right after that, we had Kate Sith. Kate Sith came along. He has the keystone. He's a son of a bitch, and he's thrown the keystone to, I think it was Sung, and Sung's gone off with the keystone, and Kate Sith has basically, well, from his perspective, or at least what he's saying is that he's held Marlene captive, and that she, if he doesn't do as he says, then he's going to hurt her. But I don't think Kate Sith would do that. Again, that's Reeve. Of course, we know it's Reeve doing that. But I think he's just using that. And I think I made some points about maybe from Marlene's perspective, maybe she was just told that she'd be able to speak with her dad, and then it didn't work out. Obviously, on the other end, maybe the radio went down. But I don't think, can only invent that idea. But I don't think Kate Sith, Reeve, particularly was actually, from Marlene's perspective, or Elmira's perspective, that's Aerith's stepmother, who's looking after Marlene, were being threatened in any way. I'd like to believe that. Anyway, what's happened after that is, obviously, we're going to skip all the part now because I've now gotten Aerith her final limit break. I just need to apply it actually. And we are, I think, my last save point is just outside the Temple of the Ancients. So, that's basically when we met at the hotel after Kate Sith took the keystone and handed it over. We are now, and yes, we were told by Kate Sith, or at least, that, was it Shinra are going off to the Temple of the Ancients. So we know where to go now. So I've just basically left Gold Saucer and gone straight to the Temple of the Ancients, and that's where we are now. So if I continue, hopefully we'll pick up there. Oh, I'm at Nibelheim. Why am I at Nibelheim? Don't mess with me. There we go. So at least I've got... so I was wrong about... Now, why am I wrong? Why did I come to Nibelheim? Why am I saved here? There's a reason... Oh, the reason I came here was to buy some high potions. So look... I saved outside, went in, bought some high potions, then went to Temple of the Ancients. So I need to go back in because, of course, I got to the Temple of the Ancients. You can't buy high potions there. So let's go in and get ourselves some of those things. Here we go. And I'm going to buy a good bunch because I think, just go up to 40. Tents as well. I'm going to buy 10 of those. Tents I tend to use more than, say, healing, just using high potions, because I can't use Cure. I can't use Restore Materia. As you can see, it's an enemy skill only run with Manipulate Materia. So I've got everything I need there. And so I use Tent between spaces. So yeah, let's get the hell out of here. There's no reason for us to be here right now. I know that the Tiny Bronco is right down there, so let's just get over there. Let's see if we get a fight in between. Probably will. Come on. Yes! Okay. So, again, apologies about the fact that we've kind of skipped a little bit. It was a pivotal scene for me. It could have been Tifa. It was Aerith. But, either way, I think it's pivotal because I think in both ways, they're both talking about trying to get to the real Cloud. And that is at least what we mean by the real Cloud. It's just the Cloud whose memory is not torn apart, who doesn't believe himself to be soldier first class. Of course, because due to the Genova cells, he is a mess. So yeah, let's get on with this. And I actually got into the Temple of the Ancients, of course it was you, Nanda Bielan, who told me about the sound problems while I was in there, so we're not too far off from that anyway. But because of the errors that happened yesterday, I kind of want to repeat a lot of what I spoke about yesterday. There were points that I wanted to make about the developers of the game. Some interviews that I've read, and I think hopefully they'll come up naturally at some stage, but I was really interested to read about the development of Final Fantasy VII. One of the things that really surprises me every time, because I've been speaking about this during the stream, was that Final Fantasy VI had been developed, and then they spent, I'm not entirely sure how long after that, but I'm going to save it right here, by the way, just to make sure that I don't have to go through that again. Then there was a period of, I understand that was about a period of, they created the CG scene, the CG, it's using the SGI hardware. They created a CG scene with Final Fantasy VI characters to really get an idea of how to, step forward into the 3D realm, which of course is what they did with Final Fantasy VII. So very early on in 94, 95, they already knew they were going to go 3D. They knew that was the direction. They knew because of the cartridge space of the up to 64 megabytes on the N64 cartridge that they had to go CD, because that was where they were able to create CG film, high quality CG film as well. Okay, welcome back, Nandavilan. And yeah, so basically they spent 3 months trying to figure out what hardware they were going to focus on, what their process was going to be to create Final Fantasy VII. And I understand that it only took them 1 year. 1 whole year with, I think, a staff of about 100 people, which is incredible that they somehow created Final Fantasy VII in that short amount of time. And considering now with the remake, of course, all of the assets have to be redone in super high resolution. There's no way it's going to end up being anywhere near the same game. And that's going to take a few years to get completed, certainly. And I know it's in parts, hopefully, maybe 2 or 3 parts, hopefully no more than 3, and they will be able to give us a fully featured game. But yeah, altogether, it's going to take probably 5-6 years before we are able to finish the remake. And maybe we'll get a part next year, who knows. Anyway, we're going to the Temple of the Ancients. Let's get on with it. And I have a lovely cup of tea here. Yum. Okay. So basically, just again, replaying a little bit of what I did already yesterday, but and I need to remember to give Aerith her final limit break. Now here, I was a little confused about what's happening with Aerith, what's happening in terms of the who is she speaking with here. So you could become one with the planet, but you're stopping it with the strength of will. It may well be that there. Oh, really? Okay, so nice one. Okay. You went to the store to get some popcorn? Okay, and drinks. Okay, what drinks do you have? Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I guess here we're talking about the strength of will. Yeah, that is dedication. That's pretty impressive. The strength of will here, I think they're talking about, obviously, as I've said in my earlier streams, both Sephiroth and Aerith later, they're able to maintain their wills in the live stream. And I think someone she's speaking to here, maybe it's a collective possibly, of people or ancients, they're communicating with her right now. But of course, and I'll talk about this later when we get into the Temple of the Ancients, there are also reservoirs of knowledge, which are not necessarily consciousness, I think, but more akin or analogous to say hard drives, to things that are holding on to information. Anyway, let's move on here. Some energy and water, okay. This is a very, yeah, I find this really interesting. Yeah, I've got quite a bit of water and tea because I'm thirsty. It's a little warm. Okay, let's move on. Ooh. And here as well, I was a little confused about, obviously these guys are here. We know why we don't know yet why these guys are here. We know that Sephiroth is after the black materia. We don't know the nature of the black materia yet, specifically. Cloud seems to know maybe what it's about, and he kind of dodged the point and kind of said that maybe people wouldn't understand, I think, earlier. We kind of missed that bit, obviously, because of that was what they were talking about at the hotel, the last point. Anyway, but here I find this interesting, Aerith's interaction with this guy. There's an animation performed there, and he moves into the sky, and we know already that in the later games that Aerith is able to has control over the live stream and is able to influence things and is able to bring people into the live stream. We certainly see that in Advent Children, but whether or not that's what's happened there, it wouldn't make sense because we've not seen that particular power before. So perhaps it was just a surprise to Aerith that this person sort of just kind of flowed away. I don't know. Do I know the YouTube channel iDubZ? I don't. I like this section here with Sung, his animation. It's one of the more unique animations in the game. It's quite, yeah, definitely unique. You don't see this repeated anywhere else in the game, as far as I'm aware. I like that little... And, you know, that comes neatly actually onto my point that I wanted to make. And I'm repeating a lot of what I said yesterday, but of course it doesn't exist anymore because I had to remove it, and it wasn't because no one could hear me. Citron, I've heard of the game theorists. In fact, I was quite interested to hear some theories, which I've now forgotten, but I definitely watched something about Final Fantasy VII, and I can't quite recall what it was and what their theory was. I don't think I agreed with it, but it was fun nonetheless. What I really like here is, you know, the animation with Sung. These guys here, each of these, as far as I'm aware, were animated by an individual person. So Cloud is animated differently to Tifa and Aerith and Sung. They've each got unique animations. And I read that, yes, so some of the animations would be a little more subtle, some would be a little more sort of exaggerated, like Kate Sith, for instance. But in the battle animations, they are different. They're obviously different models, different animations, different animators. Same with the CG as well. They're a different team. In fact, they're a team of several people who were brought in from actually, I think, from other game developers, and also I think the film industry, and were brought in to create those CG scenes that we are obviously so familiar with now in Final Fantasy VII. Also, what we know as FMVs. So I just want to repeat, my housemate is in the house, so you might see someone kind of flitting about in the room behind me. I think she's bought us pizza. I might have to steal some of that soon. So tonight, I think my aim, really, for the stream is to get from here. I certainly want to get to what was traditionally known as Disc 2, so that would be after the Forgotten Capital. Yeah, I think, Citron, I'll have a look into some of their theories, because obviously kind of things I'm stating, I think I can't say that I'm coming from a place of expertise, but certainly okay. But I like to think that I've got some valid opinions and points, definitely. But, you know, they're here to be kind of, you know, discussed as well. That's the one. Yeah, Citron, I think that's the one I read about. The one about Aerith not dying from Sephiroth's blade. Not so sure about that. Okay. Let us move on here. So we have still alive. So this bit, it's a little odd. You don't actually see the keystone, but I guess you get an impression that something's changing. It's an interesting idea, but... Okay. And that's cool as well. There's obviously some sort of magical quality going on. But, you know, so whether that's teleportation or just being brought through the floor, it's cool. Yeah, Nando Bulan, I think in this it's likely that we're going to end up discussing both, you know, Advent Children, Crisis Core as well. Although I've said before in my previous streams, I'm not happy with Crisis Core. I have a few issues with it as a convoluted piece of work, whereas Final Fantasy VII was quite tidy in its storytelling. You don't think Aerith died? Okay. I love the music here. I know I've mentioned that before, but okay. Again, it's I think I mentioned this again yesterday, but it's uncertain, and mysterious, confused, and I think that's the Temple of the Ancients. Just the way it's displayed here, with the kind of reminds me of the Labyrinth. If anyone's seen that, the David Bowie film. with, is it Jennifer Connelly? I think. And yeah, just the kind of maze of steps, although these steps kind of follow some logic, unlike those in Labyrinth. Let's get on with this. Down here. I just want to also, as for the sake of completion, I really do want to kind of get everything here. And I need to remember, I need to equip Aerith with her final limit break. So another thing I read about from the interviews that were compiled, there's a site that's compiled them. I'm going to have to actually get the name of that because I think it's fair that way if I do that. But you know, there were different people. There were different, obviously, there were different heads of department, and you'd have those people who would be the heads of department for the development of, say, the battle backgrounds, even just the backgrounds, and then those who created the character animations and models for the battle environments. And I think that they overcame so much. If you know, for instance, I did speak about this yesterday, but you have the Titan summon, for instance, and if we really think hard about, you know, what the Titan summon actually does, he manages to rip up the ground, and somehow it is this. He does the same effect for every background in that game. So somehow they had to program it so that the Titan would affect the floor, the actual, you know, ripping the surface up, and that texture would end up being dragged up. And it's that kind of thing that if you logically think about that kind of isn't an easy thing to program, I think. So they were a smart bunch, you know, working with new ideas, I think. Right. I know that we can't go in here yet. There we go. What memories? It's interesting. And this guy up here, you know, and I'll talk about him as well. And a little moment there's another scene where we, you know, he's pink. And I know that doesn't sound important, but it might link to there's some pink matter that we see in a moment. And I was just wondering, what is he or it? Where can you watch Advent Children? I mean, it was on Netflix, Nando Bielan. It was recently. That was the complete edition as well. And I like it, but I had problems with Cloud. I felt that he was a little too dull, and you know, in this game, Cloud is actually he's sarcastic, he's wry, he can be arrogant, he can be fun, lovely. You know, he's not this kind of. I did feel that in Advent Children he was kind of two-dimensional, and I did have some problems with that. But again, maybe, you know, with after Meteorfall and the Geostigma, perhaps he had a reason to feel that way, and of course he had a guilt. But I think if you're going to create compelling characters, you know, they can feel guilt and not be so damn, I don't know, isolative, I guess, or isolated. Okay, that's one of Barrett's weapons. One of the things that I'm a little kind of annoyed by, maybe, obviously Aerith. In fact, Aerith is the only one that really leveled up a little more than the others, because I killed both Cloud and Tifa so that Aerith could get her limit breaks up for the final limit break. But because of a few other fights, because of Wu-Tai, I think actually, you know, after defeating Raps, etc., all that was tough. I do feel like I've made the game a little easier for myself, and I've already, there's Aerith, level 41. She's 3 levels ahead of Cloud, and I just feel that you know, Final Fantasy VII is easy enough anyway. Okay. Can't Skype Ninja Bluin. I think I'm just gonna limit it to this at this time anyway. Let's see. Because also part of the stream here is kind of I think for me, I was wondering whether it would make any sense to stream Final Fantasy VII anyway, but I think the big part is really for me just to kind of critique it at the same time. And you know, I guess those, as I said earlier, that's really just going to be my opinion. I'm not an expert. I do know quite a bit about Final Fantasy VII, and I'm going out of my way to do some little bits of research. But yeah, that's the main point of the stream as well, for me to just kind of collect my thoughts and kind of put it all together. That's right. So item, what I need to do now is find, arrange... Ooh. Sorry, this pad. Arrange for... There it is. Great. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I actually managed to get Aerith's, you know, and I'm going to set that actually. Aerith's Great Gospel. I need to actually have a look. Let me check. So, ooh, level 2 was the one. Cures all status elements. Thought so. Fury Brand. Ah, that's what that does. That's great. That's a really good use, actually. That's really... Okay. Level 3. Planet Protector. Makes all allies invincible one time. Yes, I remember that one. Turns them all sort of yellow gold, which is pretty cool. It's a shame, you know, if you're not... You know, imagine if you'd done what I'd done, which is just to work on this character, and then to lose the character. I mean, that's quite a lot of frustration there as well, and I think maybe the loss of Aerith isn't just tied to the character, but it's also tied to your playthrough of the character and your investment, and that's quite significant. And of course, I've done this knowing that she's going to die, but imagine how people felt back in '97, you know, when they were first playing this game, and not expecting this to happen. Pulse of Life. Fully restores all allies. That's really cool. But what does Great Gospel do then? Fully restores all allies, makes them invincible one time. So that's pretty... Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. You don't get the limit break stuff, but... yeah, that's great. I'm going to set that. And now, you know, there's the ultimate weapon which is coming up soon. So at least I know that that's here in this place. That's right, through here. There. Duh. Oh. Ah. See, just trying to figure out where to go sometimes. I did this yesterday, and I'm not going to fight here, because these guys... Although Aerith actually doesn't turn into a frog, I've given her something for that, so no, I'll stay. Okay. So, as I was saying earlier, with the interviews, what I wanted to talk about also was, you know, Yoshinori Kitase and Hironobu Sakaguchi, the director and producer, respectively, of the game. There you go. Had said that the game was... had been storyboarded, was scripted, and unlike, say, Final Fantasy VI, where they just kind of went along... Oh, Citron, you're going to be off soon. Okay, so before you go, have you ever noticed the similarities between this zone and that dreamscape in Chrono Cross? I actually, you know, Chrono Cross, I haven't played Chrono Cross. I only know some scenes from it, but I haven't actually, I really need to look into that game, because, you know, people compare it to Final Fantasy VI as, you know, which is the best RPG of the SNES era. Oh, man, Aerith isn't moving. This is really dull. She's asleep. Come on, wake up. Thank you very much, Citron. Hopefully catch you in future. My streams at the moment aren't really... There isn't a schedule so much, but I'm all over the place. But hey, you know, there are videos that I'm recording as well, and perhaps catch you in future. Have a good meeting, whatever you're doing. There we go. Come on, stay awake. So yeah, and it's interesting to know that Final Fantasy VII was kind of... The script was locked in. Of course, they experimented as they went along with the game, but they actually... you know, it was pretty much all down, which is great. And it does explain generally why the overall theme of the game, the overall narrative, is really solid. But there is definitely an issue with the little plot points which you can pull apart and say, well, you know, those things don't really make as much sense in terms of you know, if they were in a movie, you'd be questioning why those decisions or you know, are being made, or why characters are going off in that direction. They'd have to have some more solid reasons, and the remake is going to have to provide better reasons as to why, you know, certainly some of the coincidences occur in the game. Right. I've already learned that there's no point in going down those set of stairs. But up here... Again, I'm just picking things up. I can't even use the Luck Plus materia, but, you know, it's just, again, sense of completion. And, okay, so, right, I did exactly what I said I wasn't going to do. But here, go through here, and... Oh, these things are easy. Just throw a few magical attacks at them. Magic. And natural magic. That should do it. Also, I think it was Ken Narita who said that they struggled initially with the PlayStation, the hardware going into 3D first, but you know that they slowly figured it out, and although well slowly, I mean they took just a year to make Final Fantasy VII, as you know, after their decision to focus on what hardware they were going to use. I find it exceptional, I really do. Okay, let's see. Here we go. So this is the section I want to kind of talk about as soon as we get there. Let's just see if we can get through this a second, because this is could be a little bit of a back and forth, depending on how these work out. There we go. I think we've made it. That's fine. Go! Again, picking up something I can't use. I really like the morph materia because it you know, allows you to kind of... Oh, yeah, we need to keep moving, don't we? You know, it's that extra... Ooh. I was lucky I made that one. Oh, I'm lucky I made that one. That's pretty bad. And there. Yeah, so you know, things like steel, morph, they add an extra element to the game where you can find interesting items, and you know, it enriches the game, and it's something that of course I've limited myself from doing this playthrough. But it's fine. And here is where my opinion would be that what Aerith is talking to here. I mean, she said earlier about a will, you know, the strength of will preventing, you know, it might be that either that this is the coalescence or the coalescing of the knowledge of the ancients, and you know, it's a repository for like a hard drive, as I've already said, and you know, because it's not live stream energy, it doesn't appear to be spirit energy. Sentinel disease called Seikon Shukugan. What is that? Okay, not heard that before. That's not geostigma, is it? So Aerith here, you know, is she talking to, is it a spirit that has refused to return to the live stream and is here? I mean, again, I'm not sure of the precedence for that, because certainly the will, you know, you can maintain your will within the live stream, but you're kind of in there. Or is it that it is possible that a spirit can, I mean, we saw already maybe that, yeah, that there's evidence that spirits can exist on the surface of the planet. We saw that with the weapon shop guys from Sector 7 while they were at Junon. They were ghosts. So perhaps that's what's happening here, maybe in some way, or it's just the knowledge, as she said. It's, you know, it's full of the knowledge of the ancients. Consciousness, a living soul. So she's saying it's a living soul. So I think that defeats the idea that it is a repository, like a, you know, like a hard drive maybe. But I can't quite see or tie this to spirit energy. It's an odd one. It must be. It must just be spirit energy in a different form. Geostigma was deadly, Nando Bielan. I think we saw that kill people in Advent Children. You know, kill. For instance, there was the little girl. She lost her little brother, and you know, so there was a threat there. There was a real threat that Geostigma, you know, was going to wipe out a bunch of people, including Cloud. And of course, Geostigma is just infection with Jenova, and it's kind of Sephiroth's legacy and Jenova's legacy left in the live stream. Of course, you know, that happened because the live stream at the end of Final Fantasy VII was under the influence of Aerith, was used to push Meteor away from the planet so that Holy could actually then destroy Meteor. But then that left, you know, because Sephiroth had broken down in the live stream by that time, after we killed him, but his Jenova cells would have been also broken down into the live stream, and that's what's basically poisoned people or diseased people. How long can you survive with Geostigma? I don't think there's any way of knowing that, I think, from the film. So this is interesting. So we're talking about, you know, this consciousness here, you know, whether it's a spirit or whatever, but obviously the evil consciousness, you know, we know it's Sephiroth. I know I'm going to have to turn on my lamp, actually, because this is getting... The light is going. Here we go. Yay! And it's not actually my lamp, it's my housemate's lamp. It's very cute. Okay. So this is the past. We know that this has already happened. We've seen Sung. He's injured at the front of the Temple of the Ancients. That makes sense to me. Yep. What's interesting here... This is cute. But what's interesting here is when Sephiroth comes in, and it appears he is able to view Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa, viewing the past in the current time, and is also able to appear to Sung in the past. It's a little confusing, but I guess it speaks to the power of Sephiroth, definitely. Nandabulan, if you've got a link, definitely. I mean, just send me a link and I can pull that out later and go find that. I don't think I haven't any way at the moment of accepting images unless they're able to come through on the links on Twitch. But yeah, I'd be interested in checking that out. So here, real menacing, and we're for the first time we're really getting a sense of what Sephiroth is intending. What is it he wants? What we've been hearing about him going after the Promised Land, and then figuring out no, he's not after the Promised Land actually, and here it is. And there we are. That is his end game, and so much is at risk here. We're not talking about just him affecting the surface of the planet or even the planet overall. We're talking about the afterlife. Rebirth is at risk here from Sephiroth. No, Nandabulan, you can't send anything to my house. Oof. Okay, wow. And that is frightening. That is the actual idea. I mean, that is the very idea in this world. If it's the world physically allows the cycle of rebirth, reincarnation, and we've got Sephiroth, who is threatening our afterlife, the afterlife in this world. And it's, again, because it's a physical thing, it's already a part of that world. It's not just a faith-based thing, it's real. And so if he becomes, essentially one with the planet, then, we become one with him. And that is bound to be a hellish experience. What a threat, what a significant threat. It is one of the... It's not just a threat of death and on this planet. That's what makes Sephiroth, I think, so menacing. The fact that he threatens both sides of the coin. He's threatening the life and death and rebirth cycle. It's that is something else. It was quite an original idea. I can't think of too many. The only thing I can actually compare that with is Lost. Actually, when I think about what's at stake there, Fake Locke or Flock, John Locke, the fake Locke during season 6. He wants to leave the island, but then that means that he's putting the source at risk. I mean, again, if anyone, no one may know what I'm talking about here with Lost, and spoilers, but he's putting the source at risk, and he wants to leave the island, which means that evil will spread, and perhaps even infinitely so across the planet if he manages to escape the island. So that's a good comparison there. I think when I think of the evil there and the evil that Sephiroth has become, even though he didn't become evil, he was certainly twisted due to his response to finding out that he was the outcome of an experiment. and this is obviously arrogance, sheer arrogance. It's harder to say here what this is, whether or not this is just Sephiroth manifesting. I don't think it's Jenova. It doesn't seem to be as solid in that fashion, but certainly we get the impression that he is projecting himself via this this knowledge, this consciousness, showing that he's in there, he's infecting it. Really, he's not a. It's really quite threatening. I am gonna rest a second, and then we'll save. There we go. Yeah, just want to make sure that I have saved that. Okay. Because yesterday, while I was playing this game and I was grinding with Aerith to get her final limit break, I ended up making so many mistakes in terms of, for instance, that one of the things that you cannot see now because I deleted it is that I went to the cave near Junon, where you can get the mithril, but I actually miscounted. I wasn't tracking the number of fights, and in fact I was tracking the number of runs, escapes that I assumed that was what gave you the mithril, but I was incorrect. Fortunately, I just ended up with the correct amount of fights in the end, and when I spoke with him, got the mithril, then took the mithril to the weaponsmith down in his house near Gongaga. But yeah, I think I was quite, I don't know, maybe I was tired. I had streamed, that was the second stream of the day, by the way. And now, what I understand, of course I'm going to go into each of these rooms, because the Temple of the Ancients isn't actually that big, I guess. Okay, menu, move it myself. Yeah, I want to do that. Okay, go back in time, speed up time. So what I want to do, I'm going to start from 1, so let's just go back in. Yeah, okay, there we go. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Just go straight to 1 first, then 2, 3, 4. Just go through the clock like that. I think it's just nice and tidy. Here we go. Yay. And I know that, as far as I remember, number 4 has the Aerith's ultimate weapon, so I really do want to get that before the end. Ooh. Again, Aerith is the only one that really can kind of get through this without any real problems. Oh, I wasn't paying attention there. Just threw a flamethrower for no reason. Look at these guys, these frogs. Ugh. Okay. I still think that's an amazing flame effect. Considering the age of this game and how they get flames so wrong in games even today, that flame is awesome. Yeah, so one of the things that would have been missed yesterday because of the video that I deleted, which is kind of just running up to this. It's mainly just me grinding Aerith. Anyway, I found all the just to make sure that I knew where all the ultimate weapons were, who to have in your party at certain points, and also where the the final limit breaks are. I am not paying attention. There we go. This is a little concerning. Oh, at least he hit himself. Good. Excellent. Go. And I do love this section as well. This environment, it's really reflective. The room that we're in with the battle environment there, in comparison to the room that we're actually in here. So nothing in the box. Okay. Although it doesn't really add up, but it's still, they get the atmosphere right there. I think that's the key thing. Right, think here. So I need to make sure that I get, I just need to move forward in time. No, that was the wrong button, sorry. I need to press the menu button. Move it myself, and then go, what do I need to do? Yeah, move forward in time. It's a little time consuming. You didn't know Aerith could fight? Here we go, coming up. Yeah, she can fight, but she won't be fighting for too long. That's the sad thing. That's why I wanted to make sure that she had everything. Well, she's not going to be leveled up entirely, of course. She's at level 41, but she has... Oh, nothing here. Okay. Ooh. That's cool. I don't think I've actually tried to push on those boulders before. So here we need to move myself, move forward in time. There you go. Easy peasy. She's a really good. She's really good for magic, actually, Nandibulan. But Cloud is the overall. I think because he's the main character, and they've designed him so that he is generically overall the most powerful character. Although it takes a lot longer for him to get hold of his Omnislash. Actually, well, no, the Omnislash materia. Sorry, the Omnislash final limit break is available at the battle arena. It costs, I think, around about 51,000 to get, 51,200, and it drops to 31,000 after you get the high wind. But the main issue is that you have to fight, I think, around about 320 times. You have to have killed 320 enemies before you can get his the first of his third level limit breaks. This game is nearly 20 years old, Nandibule, and it was released in 1997. I can't remember exactly when. Was it January 97? But don't hold me to that. But yeah, 97. So it's coming up to 20 years old. And that's why maybe we might see the remake, or at least the first part of the remake, available possibly next year. Maybe towards the end of next year. I mean, I'm not holding out too much hope for that because there's a lot of work to be done. But that would be the 20th anniversary of the release of the game. What are these things? They're interesting. I certainly remember them, but what I'm doing as well is I'm checking the names of these things. One thing I've been forgetting to do is just make sure that with Cloud that he's manipulating these things. So I'm just going to do that right now. Give him a good slap about and then manipulate and just see if we can. Because I want to make sure that Cloud can get everything he can here. As I've said in previous streams, I'm not checking exactly what exactly where to get enemy skills. I kind of want to figure that out myself. I'm not figuring everything out myself, anyway. Yeah, I agree, Nandibulan. I think this game has its graphics, in many ways, do hold up. It's a gorgeous game. No, I can't actually manipulate. I wasn't paying attention there. Let's just throw some magic at it. I think it was, the main point is that it's consistently designed and it's very, oh, come on. Just polished. That's the key word. It's really polished. What are you doing? That's MP actually, isn't it? So that's not so bad. Oh, crikey, these things are real nuisances. Look at that. Okay. And I think because of the polish and because of the singular vision of this game, I think that's why it stands the test of time, at least in terms of it looks neat. There's a lot of games from this age which just look a mess right now. But Final Fantasy VII, and I'd say Final Fantasy VIII and IX as well, they look they're very tidy, they're very clean. You've got clean menu interface. Here, you don't have a heads-up display. You know, there's no other information that gets in the way. Nothing gets in the way. Wow, that was really bad. And also, Aerith losing all that MP. Dang. Okay. As I said, my housemate's here. She is playing Pokemon Alpha Sapphire right now, if I remember correctly. And I'm playing Pokemon Y. Damn good game. Really hell of a lot of fun. First time I've ever got into Pokemon. The 6th gen is the first I've ever played. Yeah. Really good fun. There we go. And here is where if I read correctly, is where Aerith's final weapon is. This section's interesting as well, just the overall idea of it. There's a clock inside the Temple of the Ancients, and I wonder really if it is what symbol Princess Guard. There we go. So I'm going to equip it anyway, just to feel complete. There we go. Wow, that is a leap. She leaps in terms of her power there. Is there anything else that is anywhere near? I mean, I don't know if I bought everything, but certainly Princess Guard. That's really cool. Excellent. That'll do. White Cape really makes sense here. In fact, I'm starting to regret not getting more White Capes just because of the frogs, but... Yeah, so just thinking about the clock design here. Why is there a clock? What does that signify necessarily? I mean, you know, each hour of the clock is, you know, there's a room, not every room has anything in it. I don't think there's any connection between the room number, you know, number 4, although that Roman numeral there is incorrect for 4, or at least it's, well, I might be wrong that whether that was a common use or not, but, you know, obviously it normally would be IV. Move it myself, and let's get to 5. And it's not a puzzle per se, it's just a piece of interaction as well, so it's a little distraction, and it's something that you can choose to kind of get on with or not. Cloud got his sword, Nandabulan, from Zack. Ribbon! Yes! Ribbons are cool. Now, I think... Does someone else have a ribbon? I might have... I can't recall now if I've... But ribbons are cool. I'm going to give you the ribbon, because I think... I tend to give ribbons to characters who may not be quite as powerful. Although Cloud... You know, Tifa's not that far off Cloud, and... I don't know. I tend to give more... Here you go, power is strength plus 10. You know, I tend to give sort of yeah, accessories which strengthen Cloud in Final Fantasy VII. So yeah, the if I don't know, Nandabulan, if you've played Crisis Core. Again, I've got some issues with it, but certainly there are some parts of it which make sense, and we get to really see in that game how the Buster Sword is handed on to Cloud. So it's a symbol, really, of the legacy that is passed on from Zack to Cloud. And of course, this is what, you know, with the Genova cells in Cloud from the experimentation from Hojo, you know, we can see that it's caused him some significant problems. And that's why Cloud believes himself to be Soldier First Class. Okay, so why did I come in here? That's it, powerless, but... Yeah, I'm happy with that. It's fine. Let's get out of here. Nope. Let's move on. Yeah, so that was Ribbon. And that explains... Yeah, great, I'm happy with that. So finally I got here. So that's pretty much every box in that environment finished with. Yeah, I was expecting to come back there eventually. Yeah, move myself. Yep. There we go. And of course, you can fall off. I need to remember that. Now, before I... Ugh. If I fall off... I'll fall off when I'm done with every room. Because I can't recall what's at the bottom. Yeah, Zack did get his sword from Angeal. Angeal passed that on to him in a again passing on the legacy in that sense. I think that's what Crisis Core was about anyway. It was passing on legacies. There we go. And this puzzle. Here we go. But again, I found the plot really convoluted. I didn't really understand what the hell Angeal or Genesis were doing, what their actual goals were. You know, 1 minute Angeal's on your side, the next minute he's your enemy. What the hell? It was just a mess, in my opinion. But I've already spoken about this in previous streams, but I also prefer the Buster Sword design from this game. I don't like it so much in Crisis Core. I don't think that ornate design on the handle's any good. But if you see the remake footage, or at least the CGI which is available in the remake footage, which was released last year, the blade has been the handle of the blade has been redesigned. So it's kept the blade design from Advent Children and Crisis Core, but the hilt has been dealt with. Angeal is Angeal, Nandabulan, I believe. And again, that's a reference to Angel, I think. You know, he ends up with the white angel wing. That's my guess, anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I know, but am I awake enough to deal with this? And do I even want to go in there yet? Is that the room I want to go in? I kind of feel like it's not. No. Although, damn it, I'm just gonna... because I always get this, I kind of get a little confused about, I don't want to end up at the end of the Temple of the Ancients and having missed all these rooms, so I'll quickly get back around to that room just in case it is the one. Go. That's right, Nandibulin. Come on. Okay. I also wonder in some ways if that clock, although it's not representative in this game really, I mean it looks like a physical clock which is just moving around. Trumpet shell, is that a K-Sith weapon? There. It is. Cute. Sort of an old-fashioned idea. Neat. Myself. Speed up time. Yeah, I again, I don't know if you could argue maybe for, you know, I don't know, it's an argument really, and it doesn't really make any sense, but perhaps this environment is shifting time when you move the clock, and that, you know, that while you're in this little area, but I just don't feel that makes any sense either. I mean, it's just kind of reaching, really. Megalixir, lovely. It's hard to grasp whether, you know, without looking further, if there's any lore on this environment, but beyond it just being a cute little distraction. There you go. Oh, another one of these. Bah, humbug. Myself. I'm not entirely sure why you want the game to move it for you. I mean, you know, it's really simple. It's just time consuming. But hey, maybe that's kind of the joke. It's a clock. There are many rooms. It's time consuming. I don't know, of course, I don't want to go there. That was, although having said that, I've just picked up a bunch of items which I don't want... Ah, stop! Which I don't want to cancel. I'm just gonna, what I'll do is, because I've picked up half the rooms already, or more than half actually, if I come here and save, that means if I want to fall down into the pit, because I've forgotten what's down there. I know I think there's a chest down there, and I think you probably end up fighting something relatively tough-ish. What console do I play this game on? I'm actually playing this on a Mac right now, although it's, I'm complicating things, but I'm playing it on Windows, you know, through Steam. So this is the PC re-release from 2012. Oh god, this is going to take some time. Come on. Oh, actually, you can hold it down. Kind of, oh gosh, what am I doing? Of course. Come on. This is going to take some time. And so what I need to check out now is just 11 and 12, and I can't recall what's in 12. Hopefully it's not the... I can't recall if you go up to 12, that's the passage through onto where the demon wall is, or if it's actually in 6, and then follow the guy with the thing, but there. I think actually it is up at 12, but you can't get there yet anyway, because you need to follow the guy in 6 at... well, I paid for this, Nandibulin. I paid, you know, it's relatively cheap. I think, you know, although it's an old game and some people argue that it should be a lot cheaper, I think it's £15. You can get it on the PSN store, I think you can get it on Steam, you can get it on iPhone. It may even be on Android. I don't have an Android phone. Oh, there we go. Wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm not paying attention. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, at least we've got back here. I just want to... There you go. So, move it myself, and then, yeah. In fact, all I have to do is just check out these... there we go. Last two rooms. No, nothing there. Yep. There you go. Yay. And then what we'll do is, because I've saved it, I'm going to fall down, and then we'll check out 6. But yeah, so you can't do this yet, if I remember correctly. I hope you can't do this yet. No, you can't do this yet. Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. So we do need to figure this out. What am I doing? Move it myself. And this should be relatively easy. We can just run straight through because, yeah, there we go. And sorry if that took some time. And of course, before I finish with Aerith, I want to actually watch her limit break. Actually, I just want to kind of see what that looks like. I think I've only ever gotten Great Gospel once, and that was on my last playthrough back in 2015. Right, where are you going? So this is just about remembering and... Okay, so that one goes 3. You know, you can kind of guess, I suppose, but I'm going to follow. Damn it. So, 3, 3. That's easy so far. 3, 3. No, 3, 2, then 3. Sorry. Then where does he go? So I'll be able to figure it out eventually. I'll grab him from... Hey! Stop it! Okay, so now I can't get down there, I suppose. It's, oh, whatever. Where are you going? Oh my god, okay. I might even accidentally bump into him eventually. Now, this should be... Wait, no, where's he going? Because he's ending up... Ah. 3, so... Oh, okay, so... Oh, I'm going to pick that up, by the way. This could take me some time. Because I'm not... Okay, where are you going? Oh, wait! I can't recall exactly where he pops out of. No, so that's there. Last one. No, he's back in there. Yay! So that one goes there. See, I'm not really... I need to figure this out better, I think. Jesus, I think I'm only going to accidentally bump into him eventually. Oh, so close. Right, now I know where he's going to head, but I'm going to be in the wrong floor probably when he does it. Oh no, I'm not. Now it should be 3. This is it. Yes, okay. Sorry, my brain probably couldn't figure out all of these rooms at once. I just remembered 2 or 3 of them, and I was waiting for him to trigger them again. Rest. Oh, you know what I haven't done? I still haven't fallen, but I'll fall before I move on to the... Yeah, I'll save again. I just want to kind of not get stuck having to do those things again. Worst case scenario, if I get my ass kicked, because hey, we know what's coming up. Wait, how do we get up there again? Oh, this is it's just a case of... Now he went up in here, didn't he? He came back out, and then he was... Yeah, there we go. So now we can go in here, and this is the room with the murals on the wall, if I'm correct. Okay, so listen, I need to use the bathroom. That was a sort of that just kind of came out of nowhere really, but I do need to go and do that. So I'm going to pause a moment. I'm just going to go to my my be right back screen, and I will be right back. Just give me a few minutes. See you in a second. Yes, hello, I'm back. And you'll probably see that I haven't actually returned with my face right now because I have pizza. And I just want to eat some food as well. So I'll be eating and playing, hopefully. We'll see if that's even possible. Oh, by the way, I think I just kind of spoke a bunch without my headphones in, so that was really not very smart. Let's get these. There we go. So yeah, I'm back. Sorry, I do apologize. I think I'm... wasn't being very smart there. I just kind of spoke without my headphone near me. But yeah, my screen's without my face right now. Just, yeah, eating pizza. Sorry if you didn't hear. Oh, yum yum. Okay. Nandabulan, I'm just munching on a bit of pizza right now, so I thought it'd be kind to turn my camera off for now. Okay, so here he is. I think, wait there, I'm gonna come back right now. I might as well. There we go. Great. I mean, of course, we can of course assume that the Temple of the Ancients will be a treasure house of knowledge, but what is? Well, I think obviously we'll see exactly what Sephiroth is talking about in a moment, because although we have what his endgame is, we don't know how he's going to do it, and this is where we find out just how he's going to do it. Again, furthering the impression of just how evil, really, he has become. And though he may be tragic, he's still, I think, fair enough evil. I think if we break what evil is, I think it's going to be, no empathy, no care, a sort of a psychopathic, sort of, completely selfish desire or existence, and that is exactly what this is all about. Sephiroth is going to do this with no regard to the life on the planet, any of the life on the planet. I'm not even sure, considering that if Sephiroth were to do this, would the planet actually survive what he's doing to it, his absolute violation? I don't think that's anything that something that the game really sort of spoke about. I mean, certainly Shinra's constant violation of life energy, yes, would lead to the death of the planet, but surely wouldn't Sephiroth's, although he'd become one with the planet, one with the life stream, would that not in itself lead to, and with Meteor coming down, to the utter destruction? I don't know, maybe some other form of life would exist after Sephiroth took it over. And what would his purpose then be? I mean, that's a bigger picture thing. Obviously we know that he wants to go off and perhaps destroy other planets. I got a little pizza stuck in my mouth. There you go. And this is a fantastic little mural. I really love how ancient they've made this mural appear. And let us remember that what we have here is not Sephiroth in person. We're dealing with Sephiroth as an image via Genova, possibly even Sephiroth as an image via one of his what are referred to as lackeys. I think it may be that any of those lackeys, the people in the black cloaks, they may well be able to be to morph into the image of Sephiroth themselves via through Sephiroth's influence from the Northern Crater. And of course, what we're talking about there is that there are various pieces of Jenova. And I spoke about this yesterday during my deleted session, where Hojo, obviously... I think Hojo views this entire process as an experiment. He has no feeling on the subject. I mean, he's obviously quite a cold, callous individual. Perhaps near enough maybe the villain of the piece. I mean, people can argue that point. I still think it's Sephiroth ultimately with his actual desires here, but Hojo's still observing the outcomes of an experiment which he sort of already kind of started beforehand, but certainly with the destruction of Nibelheim, and with Zack, and with Cloud, and with his experiments on them, infusing them with Mako, and also with Jenova cells to make Sephiroth clones. He wanted to test his Jenova reunion hypothesis, and of course it is playing out right now. But for Hojo, it's a game. It's an experiment. For the rest of everyone else, it's life. It's serious. And that, of course, is made even more clear by the fact that Hojo actually becomes part of the experiment when he injects himself with Jenova cells, and he doesn't really seem to care for his own person in that case. Again, I'm not sure what it might symbolize here with Sephiroth. His, the fact that he seems to be animated here, with he's kind of got this dual, it's kind of blurry, I guess. I'm not entirely sure what reason there is for that. Whether he is, obviously all three of them can see him. He's not simply just a projection in the mind, or he could be. But it's very. Yeah. Are these Jenova cells just right now in front of Tifa, Cloud, and Aerith? Or is it a projection from somewhere? And again, this is much like Sung's animation at the front of, at the entrance to the Temple of the Ancients. Sephiroth is displaying very unique animations, and they're pretty cool. Go. Arrogance, hubris, evil, really. And of course, this is what we're talking about. What is this? The ultimate destructive magic, Meteor. That is the means by which he can become one with the planet. He needs a wound big enough, devastating enough, traumatic enough that he can exploit and take advantage of the life stream of the planet. And here we go now, this little bit here, this scene with the music, again, playing into... I think this is the first time we hear this music right now coming up. But it is almost related to the music that we hear at the Bumblebee Inn when Aerith, Cloud is having his little breakdown. It's not the same music, but it appears to be a piece of piano work. Obviously, it's really disturbing. This is a darker piece of music, of course, but it's saying something about the nature of Cloud. It's the conflict within him. This is what the music is saying to me, certainly. And I guess right now he's just laughing. He's just, he's kind of losing it right now. And we don't know why right now. But we got the impression earlier that Cloud knew something about Meteor, knew something about the ultimate destructive magic. I think it was kind of brushed under the carpet. I think he spoke about this at the hotel. He kind of said, look, you wouldn't understand, or something along those lines. So I'm not sure what Cloud knew and where he got that knowledge from. And this is where, we've got Cloud internally. The struggle is coming from the fact that he obviously contains Jenova cells. the Genova cells themselves will have an influence on Cloud's behaviors, on his process, on his thought process, and of course on his personality, on his memories. And yes, Sephiroth is exerting influence on Cloud via the Genova cells. So he has no choice but to kind of give in to that. And we're watching that battle right now. It's played out here. We're seeing the sort of multiple elements of Cloud here. But the other two still don't fully understand what's going on, although of course Aerith certainly knows there's something wrong with Cloud. There's something more to Cloud than what we see on the surface. And of course Tifa knows, you know, certainly that there's something not quite right about him. And this is where, again, and it's played out a little more here, because I've been talking a little bit about how Aerith and Tifa are protecting Cloud. And here, this little exchange between Aerith and Tifa, they're not... It seems that Cloud doesn't know what happened right then. He seemed to lose himself in a conflict. He came to, and he's like, what? It's all good. And Tifa and Aerith, right, it's okay, you know? And this is kind of plays to how Aerith behaved with Barret. She said, just act normal when this kind of thing happens. And I guess right now, Aerith is just acting normal, and it allows Cloud just to kind of, you know, not to crack right now at least. And it won't be too long before Cloud does crack. Oh, sheesh. I'm just wondering if I was actually properly prepared for this little section. I guess I've got no choice but to just deal with it. I remember certainly this section being tough the first time I ever played this game and getting my ass whooped time and time again. But again, I was young, 12, 13 years old, but I just can't recall right now how tough this is going to be. Let's just go ahead. Obviously, got no choice. But hey, this is part of why this is fun right now, and this is a fantastic background. Obviously, Dragon Breath's not going to work, but hey, Big Guard makes perfect sense. Look, because he's quite damaging. I don't imagine. I'm going to try Frog Song just for the sheer fun of it, just to test things. I like experimenting to see if we can get something out of it. Laser is not going to do the trick. I'm not going to attack him right now with a physical attack to see if does the Frog Song work. No, of course it won't. It doesn't even put him to sleep. Death Sentence, I can bet. Well, what the hell was that? So, that didn't work. Okay, so trying. Song, Death Force, Laser doesn't work, that's right. So, question mark as well. Again, just testing these things, it's fun. Not too bad. And of course they're hasted as well, so my characters are moving pretty quick right now because of this. And look, that damage is now completely manageable. That's fun. Whoa! Might be worth pulling that off again. That's pretty cool. Again, this is kind of magic that I would just not have used. I would have been throwing, you know, ice magic at it all the time, but it seems certainly there's a benefit to a lot of the magic in the enemy skill materia. Go! There we go. So we are looking at question mark again. This is going to be kind of random though. I can imagine it won't always work the exact same way. And I'm going to try and be a little careful here. I probably wasted Aerith. I should have used the barrier, but either way, these guys need to get cured up. Generally, I think I'm faster than him, which is nice. Well, that is when I'm using Big Guard. So go. I've got enough MP as well, which is great. If this is his pattern, this is not a problem anymore. Yeah, I'm going to go with the hits here. I just want to make sure I get the hits in. Great. That was another thing as well. Aerith is actually coming to up to. I just want to make sure that she does get the chance to use her limit break because I want to see it. She's not going to last much longer, so I'm really happy that I managed to get. Ooh, crikey! I'm going to get her last. I'm going to throw to her way. Is that going to kill him? Oh! Okay, fine, whatever. There's space between, of course, before we get to the demon wall. Nice, meteor drive for Aerith. But yeah, that was not the plan. I didn't expect that to happen, actually. So guess what? That again, it fits in with my impression of Final Fantasy VII. Love the game, but it's too easy. And even though I've tried, I haven't been grinding hard at all. I haven't grinded at all, actually. The only time I've grinded was for Aerith to get her a final limit break. And I've just been playing the game, and the levels that I'm at are kind of natural. That's where you kind of get if you don't run away from battles, but don't try to get battles as well. So the game it's a shame, it's just too easy. There's no real... The only time I've been challenged so far really is Raps down at Wutai. That was tough, and I came out with Cloud dead, well, KO'd. Why is Aerith always praying? Ooh, I can't use my home material, that's a real shame. I guess that's just her animation, I think, in terms of that's the way that she sort of performs her, utilizes her magic, I guess, or performs her limit breaks, that kind of thing. It's just a way of conveying the personality of the character. As you see, Cloud has his own animation for casting magic, so does Tifa, and I guess it fits with Aerith's character. Right, what am I doing here? Is that... Here we go. So I thought that there was a... At the very least, I'll get the chance to cast Aerith's final limit break at the Demon Wall, so, it's fine. So did she just read that off something? I find that interesting. She's kind of sort of spelt it out. And of course right now they don't really know the nature of what this is. They don't understand the nature. What's that, Snoggy? Cloud found her in a church. She is pious. Is that... Yes. Kind of, yeah, I guess so in some ways. Yeah, certainly. Although, I'm kind of coming from a secular point of view here. Let's just shake it for now. Why not? We know what happens. My assumption again is that anyone watching these streams, anyone watching the past broadcasts, anyone watching YouTube will know what this game is about. So, spoilers all abound. I'm talking critically of the game from back to front with whatever knowledge I have. And as I say, I'm not an expert, but I have some good opinions here from my perspective, and I enjoy talking about it. So again, this is her... That colour, the pink, comes through. You had the pink with a little sort of... what appeared to be a little lake that Sephiroth ended up sort of sort of just sitting in for a while. And then you've got the little pink little creature that we've been kind of getting our rest and save points from. So again, this is just... It is just a way of displaying that she's speaking with a consciousness which has not returned to the planet. Again... It could just be a collective of consciousnesses. It could be one consciousness, but I think it's a collective. And yeah, it's seemingly more. It's not just knowledge, it is a consciousness. And here she is finding out the nature of the temple, the nature of the black materia, which is a fantastic idea. I thought this is fantastic. And the way with how they figure this out, how they actually get a hold of the black materia, again, it's somewhat ingenious. So there, model of the temple, floating up and down in front of Cloud and Tifa Aerith. I think this is sort of a bit of a translation error, it seems to me. It says there's a device inside the puzzle that gets smaller. But I think actually what we're obviously referring to is the temple itself gets smaller as the puzzle is solved. Well, and yeah, so and also they're talking about you becoming smaller. Maybe that is what happens. Maybe, we'll see Kate Sith come up in a moment, and perhaps he shrinks along with it, or perhaps he gets crushed. It's not entirely... We know what happens, but I think the translation could be clearer. So here I think they're getting across the temple, of course, is the black materia. And look at that, that trick there, making it very difficult to get hold of it. Yeah, Nandabilan, of course I know Vincent from Final Fantasy VII. I have Vincent, I got Vincent from the Shinra Mansion earlier, in an earlier stream. And it makes sense, look, that Tifa's quite smart there, like, we could just leave it, you know? That if Sephiroth wants to come in here and get it, he's going to have to kind of destroy himself to get it, but of course, they make the point here. It's flunkies, not lackeys, that's right, so he's, yeah, and yeah, Sephiroth has control, influence over those guys in the black cloaks, and of course Cloud doesn't realize that, but he has he's also influenced by Sephiroth as well. And of course we're going to see that in a very real sense in a moment. Yeah, Vincent is badass. I find it, again, his story kind of convoluted with regard to the Dirge of Cerberus, but yeah, he's cool. He's just, you know, just the way he's designed overall, he's a very cool character. And I like his appearance in Advent Children as well. Here he is. Of course, Kate Sith listening in on the phone. I mean, but of course, this is where Kate Sith, or Reeve, via Kate Sith, you know, this is where we start to really get an understanding of the fact that Kate Sith isn't really a dick, although you know, he was a spy, but he had the right intention. Well, you know, and you know, that's kind of borne out through the rest of the game anyway. I'm just trying to think here. Cloud knows that Kate Sith is a stuffed body. He's not, you know, he's a mechanical toy. So I can't, you know, either he'd say no way because he doesn't trust Kate Sith, or he'd say no way because, look, you'd be destroying yourself. But I think, I mean, I'm going to go with no way for now, just because, you know, I'm just thinking about the spy element here. I mean, how can Cloud trust Kate Sith? It's not going to be something easy, considering that, you know, Kate Sith threw the keystone to Sung at the Gold Saucer. I'm going to keep going down this, because I want to know why I should trust Kate Sith right now. Okay, so it doesn't really explain itself, and I have no choice, but they could have written that a little better, given a real stronger reasoning as to why Cloud... You know, obviously it has to head in that direction, but again, that maybe critically looking at that part, it's not done well, I think, that little bit. You'll also notice in the background the mural, although we saw the mural earlier with the meteor fall, and the mural now behind the party here, you know, is all the flames. I just think that's a nice touch. That's kind of like, yeah, that's the last thing. That's what's going to happen. So, you know, just warning you, if you use this materia, there you go. They keep playing the Final Fantasy VII theme on Classic FM. Classic FM. Interesting. Well, no, I completely agree with you, Snogsy1. The music is groundbreaking. It is my favorite music of Final Fantasy VII, of the Final Fantasy series, and of any game ever. And in fact, of any set of music in any movie, you know, with regard to an original soundtrack, it is exceptional. It's obviously limited, of course, by the fact that it's MIDI. Nobuo Uematsu actually, he spoke about the idea of using real instruments for Final Fantasy VII, because look, they had a CD, and the CD has Red Book quality, you know, standard sound, although it's known as Yellow Book, I think, for data CDs. But anyway, but what they actually said was that if they were going to be loading up real music for a game like Final Fantasy VII, then what would happen is that you'd have this delay between scenes, and they didn't want to make the user of the player of the game feel disconnected because of pauses. So instead what they did was use the actual PlayStation sound chip to create this music, but it's still fantastic, and also because it is the PlayStation sound chip, it's quite unique. Final Fantasy VII soundtrack sounds really unique. It's you know, the little synths, the emulated instruments. Nothing else really sounds like it. But I did, you know, Nobuo Uematsu, his statements that it was the PlayStation chip makes me, gives me the impression that maybe other games use the same instruments. I've not seen any evidence of that, but I'd be interested to see if anyone knows about that. Because certainly Final Fantasy VIII uses a completely different set of instruments. It's produced differently, and it itself has a very original sort of soundtrack. Again, fantastic. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, I'm gonna save that here because obviously that's a long section to have to repeat if I screw up. And I did forget that the dragon was actually at the end of that section, but we survived. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's fine. And rest, because yeah, we used a bit of MP dealing with the dragon. Now, okay, so we've saved there, and what I want to do here... Oh, no! Oh! I kind of screwed up. You know why I screwed up? Because I said that I would fall down here. I would fall down into the... There's nothing I can do, is there? I'm going to come back, go back in. And you can't use the damn... Oh, no! Because I wanted to fall down, and I know, if I remember, it's the nail bat now that I remember. The nail bat's down there. It's not a great loss, but, you know, sense of completion. I've lost it. Alright, fine. We'll move on. But as I say, I do want to get Aerith. I just want to see... I think it's a beautiful limit break, actually. So I really want to get a sense of that before we lose Aerith now. No, it's not good, especially when there's a demon coming through the wall. Look, see? Ugh. That's creepy. I mean, I think when I was younger and I played this game, that's quite frightening, actually. It's quite a frightening scene. And of course, the fact that the creature itself is, if I remember correctly, quite tough. And, you know, we'll see how it goes. Right, straight out with the big guard, because I know that things like cave-in cause us some... Ow! Damage! Look at that! Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. Let's see what already we can do here. I can deal with it, and now we've got haste, we should be able to deal with things a little better. Oof! Even with... Right, that's exactly why we needed big guard, and this is exactly why this is kind of tough. So, I'm gonna go with Shrine. I'm gonna use Tifa as my healing member. As my... Essentially my... Well, she's not a white mage because she can't use magic, but... I mean, in this run. Enemy skill plus manipulate materia run. Can't use any other materias. Oh! See, that's how quickly you can be annihilated there. He's trying actually hurting. I need to pay attention. I wasn't looking. Meteor Rain, let's just get that in there. Great. I need to pay attention to the barriers as well, just to make sure that when they run out, I cover it again with a Cloud or Aerith. Ugh, that's obviously going to be quite devastating. I can't imagine him lasting much longer. Again, even though this is one of the hardest... Oh, okay, that's actually causing a lot of damage. Okay, who am I half potioning? All of them, because that could kill... Okay, no, that's great. I'll throw that again at Cloud. 2 of those. Okay, great. I sometimes wish it was even tougher than this. You know, this is... Question mark, let's see if that does anything. I do wish it was a little harder again. You know, real kind of frantic, kind of like it was with Raps at Wutai. Flamethrower, let's just deal with that. I'm going to keep Tifa open. Probably I should throw another high potion across, actually. Ah, come on! I mean, I've not even tried! I'm not grinding. I'm not even using any materia apart from the enemy skill materia, and... Yeah, okay, yes, I had Meteor Rain. I'm not sure if you're... And I'm not grinding, so again, Meteor Rain, maybe that's supposed to come along at that point. But I've been at this point at level 50, level 55, thereabouts. It's It's a shame. That's part of the critique. The critique from me, generally overall, as the game has continued, Final Fantasy VII has just been too easy. And even when I talk about raps, you can choose to do raps later, but I chose to do it earlier so I could get the challenge, and it was the most challenging aspect for me. Anyway, let's move on. So, Cait Sith. This section now is really interesting, because it raises a few questions about Cait Sith and Reeve's relationship with the Cait Sith toy, I suppose, as well, in terms of... obviously, Reeve is using the toy to communicate with the team, but it's interesting the points that Cait Sith will make in just a moment. And you know what I've also forgotten to do? I've actually forgotten to do Aerith's limit break, and now I have no choice, because I think there are no random battles. There are no random encounters coming up. Ah. Oh well, doesn't matter so much. I know that in the end, I got everything I could for her, so I was happy to complete Aerith before letting her move on. Popcorn Heaven! That's nice to hear. Okay. Okay, I haven't done it in a while, huh? I'm guessing you've played this game, Nandibula, and you've completed Final Fantasy VII? And this is sweet, this little section here. My gosh, I mean, if we think about what Cait Sith said to... Oh, this is painful. Cait Sith obviously met Cloud, and whoever happens to be in your party when you're chasing Barret around, and I think I had Aerith in my team, and of course, at that time, he speaks about, you know, with his little, like, sort of lottery luck draw machine, whatever it is. Yeah, have you completed the game, Nandra Bulan? That, you know, he said he had to, obviously, it was his excuse to get into the party because he's a spy, and Reeve needed some excuse to get in, so, you know, the simple excuse is, well, I need to see the outcome of this particular fortune. So, and here, this one here is just, it's so sweet. And of course the music changes to kind of reflect that as well. So I just kind of want to, you know, pay attention to this bit. And it's, you know, it's really sweet. I've already spoken about how I think Aerith and Cloud, you know, it really wasn't a romantic element. It was a really caring element, and that bond becomes even stronger in Aerith's death. Because Aerith's presence is felt throughout certain parts of the game, and of course throughout Advent Children as well. And really, we know that Tifa's the one for that. But you know, it's these little sweet elements which just are just little touches which are put in to make us care more about Aerith. And you know, if you're playing this game for the first time ever, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know she's going to leave your party, and you don't know that she's going to die. And this music is just, it's killing me right now, actually. Yeah, okay. And look, you little huffing and puffing. And you know what? I don't think I've actually had the two girls in my party at this time ever before. So seeing Tifa react to Aerith's point, I normally would have had Cloud, Aerith, and Barret. But I wanted the two this time. It's just a different way of playing through, I think. Yeah, I recommend it, Nandabu, and I really recommend that you play this game. I mean, obviously you're... Spoilers, the Doctor. What I'm going to say, though, is I probably should put that up on the stream. This stream is a critique of the game, and it really is for, you know, it's going to be sort of for veterans as well. You know, so it's going to look through what I know from Crisis Core, however much I don't like it. Of course, what I know about Advent Children, and obviously throughout the rest of the game. It's just kind of exploring the themes, really, the narrative. So yes, there will certainly be spoilers. Here we go. I mean, this is... you know, I wonder what the developers were trying to do here, because... Maybe it's because the developers knew that at this point, they need to make the players of the game... Thanks, Nando. They need to make it so that the players of the game feel for Aerith and feel for the relationship between Aerith and Cloud. But of course the developers knew that then you've got the rest of the game to work on the relationship between Tifa and Cloud. So, you know, again, it's just making, it's the feels. It's feels. And this is, again, look at the words that are being used here. No matter how rough the translation might be, I think it's lovely what Kate Sith is saying here. And just those little kind of the comments there from Kate Sith. I've got to say though, although the emotion there is wrapped up with Aerith and Cloud, what Kate Sith says here doesn't add up, because we didn't really believe in him. He was a jerk, and, you know, he's forced our hand. We have no choice but to do this, and, you know, but hey, we can get along with the sentiment because it is simplistic at this point. It's okay to kind of deal with the fact that, you know, that Kate Sith is going to be doing something for us now. He's kind of being selfless. But of course, this is what I'm talking about. Reeve is in control of Kate Sith. So what about the particular toy, the robot? You know, we'll be seeing in a few moments some really touching stuff from Kate Sith. Although, does it make sense? Because, you know, Kate Sith's a toy, right? And so who's speaking here? Is it Reeve? Is it Kate Sith separately? And I like to think when I was younger, when I was playing this, actually when I was younger, because I didn't know about the Reeve connection, and actually it took me a few gameplays to really just to, I don't know why, but I didn't really, maybe I kept forgetting the connection. Anyway, Kate Sith, you know, I just believed that maybe he really did sacrifice himself for this, because this is big, but then, of course, it wasn't a huge sacrifice, because we know that Kate Sith is a toy, he is a puppet, we've known that. But what if he had some kind of, even if it was an AI, a consciousness, something that knew it existed, even if it didn't really care about overall its existence, and it was just contemplating. So that's an interesting point, and again, I may be thinking too far into that, but you know, at least this scene right now is emotive, and I will say, as Kate Sith's fallen over there, you get the impression that there is a humanity, that there's something, exactly what happened. And that right there, I think for me, is, I just get this impression that Reeve turned off. Reeve, you know, put Kate Sith into sort of a, you know, autopilot, and now he is him, and he's still making this choice, however limited that point of view might seem. You can see him sort of jumping, dancing. Again, there's quite a few unique animations in the Temple of Ancients, Temple of the Ancients. You know, with Sung at the start, having been stabbed, and Sephiroth swinging his sword around in front of the Black Materia puzzle. So I just get the impression here that maybe, in some way, that Kate Sith, before his demise, Kate Sith 1, that is, he reached some kind of sentience, possibly. I mean, that's kind of wishful thinking, but it's also, it's sad. But hey, either way, the developers are really pulling the heartstrings here with the what Kate Sith had to say to Aerith and Cloud, and what's happening to him here. So these bits here are lovely, and I really hope that they get it across really beautifully in the remake. And of course, you know, it redeems Kate Sith. No matter what happened, it will redeem Reeve, and it will redeem, of course we don't know it's Reeve yet, but it will also redeem Kate Sith in that, you know, he was a bit of a jerk. And also, again, I'd like to think that from the perspective of Elmira and Marlene, that they weren't being threatened, that they just thought they were going to talk to Barrett. But of course, he wouldn't tell Aerith and Cloud that back at the Gold Saucer. He's just telling them, I've got them hostage. And I'd like to think maybe Reeve wouldn't be that callous in reality. And there you go, selling the idea. He's unique. Yes, there's lots of stuffed toys, and another Kate Sith does come along, but in this way, he is unique. And look at that. Wonderful. And I like this little depiction here, just the way that it all kind of, you know, breaks down, shrinks down. Sorry, for some reason I couldn't help but think about Pokemon evolving there. Um, this is a little funny as well for me because, of course, we've been inside the mass of the temple, and we know that in Final Fantasy VII that they, just being sort of analyzing it, critiquing it, they did not yet develop a sense of proportion yet in Final Fantasy VII. So it's very much like 6 and the Final Fantasies before it, where a space which is just huge could actually be displayed as quite a small space next to the characters. And here, the Temple of the Ancients was huge. We got the impression we were in there, all those little places with the steps, etc. But here we are, and we've got this kind of relatively small space. But, again, that's just me just observing there. And of course, what we have coming up now is it really is going to start selling the idea that something really is. I mean, we've been seeing little hints, and the deepest hint we got so far was back in the room with the murals on the wall, and with the black materia puzzle. Here we really do get a sense that there's totally something really fucked up about Cloud. And I'm sorry, I don't tend to swear much throughout it, actually. Sorry, Nenda Bulan, sometimes I need to pay attention to the... yeah, how did that guy with the white hair... So you're talking about... what's his name? I want to call him Kuja, but it's not Kuja, it's Kadaj. Kuja is the Final Fantasy IX villain. Kadaj is one of the three. There's Loz, Kadaj, and I forget the name of the other one. Anyway, ultimately, those three individuals, with the grey hair, they are what are known as remnants. They are remnants of Sephiroth's. They're kind of like Cloud is the legacy of Zack. These three, in literative terms, they are the legacy of Sephiroth, and so they're trying to, and basically they are being forced by their very code, I guess, by their very makeup, to reunite and to form as Sephiroth again. So when they describe Cloud as the big brother because yes, he was described as a clone of Sephiroth in terms of how Hojo's manipulations. But, Kadaj, once he finally gets hold of the Jenova cells that Rufus had been holding onto, was able to, I guess, transform into Sephiroth. I've got to say, there's some loose ideas there, even in Advent Children. Some things don't make full-on sense, but, I guess it can be followed that, you've got the three remnants, and then they are all trying to reunite, through a process of a second reunion, with the remains of Jenova, which were recovered by the Turks from the Northern Crater, which is what you could see at the start of Advent Children. Of course, they took that off, and the remnants actually sort of came into being. If you see, it depends. If you watch Advent Children complete, you will see scenes of Kadaj and Loz and the other guy. I always forget his name. I don't know why. Kind of reforming in the Northern Crater. So yeah, it honestly is a little confusing to follow sometimes. But hell, Final Fantasy VII itself is confusing to follow. I think the fact that it sort of reveals, then reveals again. What's happening with Cloud, I find, it's pretty intense. Okay. So I'm not entirely sure why Cloud is talking about using the black materia, but... But as I've already said, the Promised Land isn't a real place. It's not a literal place. It is simply a place where one with enough will can exist within the life stream, within spirit energy. Nando Bulan, so Jenova is Sephiroth. Right. Sephiroth, he was obviously, he is the son of both Hojo and Lucrezia. Hojo, through his experimentations, injected Lucrezia's unborn child with Genova cells. Sephiroth is born. So he considers, due to the experimentation, and once he figured this out at Nibelheim, put two and two together, he figures out that he is actually the son, at that time, of an ancient. Because Professor Gast actually described Genova as an ancient. Of course, that was a mistake. Genova's not an ancient. Once Sephiroth is thrown into the life stream, or into the mecha reactor at Nibelheim by Cloud, which we don't know yet, by the way, his body is disseminated. However, his will continues. He's strong enough to hold on to his will within the life stream, and also because of the Genova cells within him. And then what happens is 5 years later, Sephiroth is ready, coincidentally, when Cloud and Co. are at the Shinra headquarters, and that might have something to do with Cloud bumping into the Genova body there. But Sephiroth begins to control Genova's body at the Shinra headquarters, and at the Shinra headquarters, Genova then takes on the form, through Sephiroth's influence, who's at the Northern Crater, as Sephiroth. So we've not been following Sephiroth per se, we've been following the remains or the cells of Genova, and all the other cells of Genova within all the Sephiroth clones. Again, we don't know this stuff yet. This stuff isn't really apparent yet. But so yeah, Sephiroth. The Sephiroth we've been following is Genova, but there is a defined Sephiroth, just Sephiroth, reforming at the Northern Crater. That's the real body of Sephiroth, who of course is also made up of Genova cells, because he is by ways and means the son of Genova. And of course here that we know that we don't know, and this is what we find out later, but here we have Cloud he contains Genova cells because of the experimentation performed on him by Genova. And this is why this is now going to be happening right now. Chilling, real chilling. Of course, Sephiroth knows he's not an ancient. He found that out when he died, basically, when he was thrown into the mecha reactor at Nibelheim. There you go. And that frightening future he wants to create. He wants to take over the cycle of life and death and rebirth, take on the planet, and essentially anyone who dies, they won't be reborn quite the same way. They will become part of Sephiroth himself. Frightening idea. And here again, Sephiroth this is the first time we really see that the influence of Sephiroth on Cloud. It's pretty damn intense. And perhaps Sephiroth's known all along, really. It became more and more clear as things have gone on that Sephiroth has been toying with Cloud. But he seemed not to recognize him when we were on the ship going from Junon to to Costa del Sol. But certainly, Sephiroth has worked it out. He's worked out, at the very least, that Sephiroth is, that Cloud is essentially a clone of him due to the experimentation from Hojo, and that he contains Genova cells, and he can control him. And right now, this little kid representation that we can control and kind of head off Cloud. Because look, this Cloud that we've been playing, he's not under our control. What is he doing? He's going towards Sephiroth. The kid is the unconscious Cloud. It is the Cloud who knows who he is, or at least, if we really think about it, Cloud has not really been Cloud since he was about 16 years old, because of what happened after Nibelheim, and the fact that he was, encased and infused with Mako in that little tank in the Shinra mansion. So of course we've got I don't know how old this particular Cloud is right here, but the child form, and look at that. This would have been a complete mind screw for anyone playing this game the first time around. Like, what the hell is happening? Cloud is our, he's our avatar. He's the person that we are playing, and now we can't control him. We can just control this kid. And, he's frantically trying to stop Cloud. No, Nandabilan, Cloud is 21 years old, but the Cloud that we know right now, he's not real, I suppose. His memories are occluded. He's kind of a patch together of Zack, of the idea of he wanted to be at 14 years old. He wanted to join Soldier, and so we just have this kind of broken idea, and he's kind of the Genova cells and Cloud's own psyche have created this persona, and so that little kid we were running around, that was the real Cloud that was trying to kind of get across and take control again of Cloud. But of course, right now, Cloud is too weak, so the Genova cells, under the influence of Sephiroth, made him give the black materia to Sephiroth. And of course, this is mental. He's going to be like freaking out. Imagine if you were part of the end of the world, that you allowed that to happen. You're going to flip out. I mean, I can look at Easy shaking, and of course they've been limited at that time in terms of their animation sequences, in terms of what they could actually perform with the graphics available with the power of the PlayStation. But that music, the scene, it's getting across the actual emotion. It's devastating, and Cloud is devastated right now. And one of my problems right now is this little bit coming up right now. And I wonder how they're going to do this in the remake. So look, freaking out, just tumbling all over the place. And then... and essentially what makes Aerith go off in a different direction, because in many ways Aerith knows that she can't trust Cloud. She has known already that Cloud isn't quite who he thinks he is. We understand that from her, because this is what happened in my playthrough. It's a shame that I've not recorded it, as I lost a little bit, but due to a mistake I made in yesterday's stream. But Aerith was telling Cloud at the gondola, "I want to meet you. I'm searching for you, the real Cloud." But I don't think Aerith understood or knew that Cloud could also be controlled by Sephiroth. So now it's at this point that she has to make the decision, because the planet is at risk. The lives, the rebirth, even people's afterlives are at risk. Of course, look at this. I mean, again, you've got the kid. You're trying to stop what And Cloud is attacking Aerith, and this is something that I kind of wanted to ignore that was happening in the game, but it's just the truth. And in the remake, Sephiroth isn't controlling Cloud right now. Possibly because of the stress and the breakdown and the Genova cells within him. He's assaulting Aerith because of those factors, certainly. But yeah, right now it doesn't appear that Sephiroth is in direct control of Cloud. So this scene is obviously, I wouldn't say it's unforgivable, but damn, it's pretty damn intense. Sorry, Nandubilan. What the... Tifa running around? Yeah, I mean, I guess she's freaking out. What is he doing? Yeah, and oh, by the way, anytime... Yes. So Cloud is beating up Aerith, and every time I play this game, actually, it's Barrett who knocks Cloud out. I've actually never seen it so that it's Tifa, because I never have the two girls in my party at the same time. So actually, yeah, Tifa's knocked Cloud out there. But that's a really difficult point for me to kind of get to grips with, and I hope that they handle that sensitively in any remake. Oh, man. And this stuff is so powerful. And look at the beauty of these pre-rendered scenes. The lighting, the texture work, the trees. And you can imagine them doing this in a movie, with just... Yeah, just that, it's a very dreamlike element, and it is, it's happening in Cloud's unconscious mind, yet Aerith, being somewhat special, is able to communicate, I guess, on a spiritual level with Cloud, and that's something that is evident here. And look, Cloud is, at least in terms of, what happened, he's talking about what happened, handing the black materia over, and yeah, maybe, of course, sorry for assaulting her, it seems. I'm really worried about how they're going to handle that, because, we can't hate Cloud, and it was only a short segment, and it depends how fast you play that section, but that can be over really quickly. But, Cloud essentially assaulting Aerith is something that, that's going to make us as players feel a little dirty as well. I think it makes us feel like, oh my god, who are we rooting for? It's probably the lowest. No, it's not the lowest that Cloud gets, but the behavior that he exhibited right there is some of the lowest, I think. Does Cloud really have a wing and Sephiroth a black one? No, Nandabilan, as far as I'm aware, Cloud doesn't have a wing. Now, I think it might be possible that he has a wing in some of the extended stuff, like, I haven't played Kingdom Hearts, and I can't recall if he has anything like a wing. But no, in the canon, Cloud does not. And there's at no point that I've seen, and it would be apparent in this game or in Advent Children, there's no. But Sephiroth, yes, I guess in Advent Children he does present with one. I think that's kind of a retcon, all based on the fact that he had a wing at the end of this game, a big white wing, and then in the Crisis Core series, Angeal had a white wing, Genesis had a black wing. We don't see Sephiroth actually develop a wing until Advent Children. I think it's a bit of a, it's an interesting design, but I think it's focusing too much on Sephiroth's final sort of design at the end of Final Fantasy VII, the last boss, which is Savior Sephiroth. And I guess this is Aerith saying, look, if you really want to worry about it, you're going to have to, it's me, I have to deal with it, because actually you can't do it, you can't deal with it. And Aerith, as I've said already in my previous streams, she is pretty damn blunt. She doesn't mean to be blunt to be mean, but she's just blunt because she's damn resilient. Aerith is the most resilient character, I think, in the game. Cloud is broken. Barrett's obviously quite, full of guilt. Aerith's just kind of naive, but she is resilient as hell. And here I get the impression that she's kind of, she's crying there or sniffing, But this is her farewell to Cloud directly. And I love the little animations here, and and this is why I wanted to kind of suggest that the relationship between Aerith and Cloud was never going to be romantic, regardless of what Kate Sith's thing was. That's to make us care more about Aerith. This is a shock. What the hell? Where's Aerith's leaving? What? She's saying goodbye to us. But really, I think actually Aerith's relationship with Cloud very much is more like how it appears in Advent Children. It's more motherly. It's kind of it's a more sort of, it's almost paternal, maybe, and that certainly becomes, as I say, it develops that way simply because of her role in Advent Children, certainly. But I see it here as well. But of course, this isn't a private call right now either. So, which is really haunting. This is what makes Sephiroth so damn evil. The fact that he invades even this. That nothing's sacred to him. So again, in the terms of the game mechanic, we are getting a direction from Aerith. We need to get to the City of the Ancients, or the Forgotten Capital. We go through the Sleeping Forest. We're not given an exact idea how to get there, but there's only a limited number of places you can go with the tiny Bronco, so, you eventually find it. We know where to go, at least. So I think also it's become clear to Aerith as time's gone on that, for instance, she said earlier on in the game, very much earlier, that she, when she first met Cloud, that she has a materia, and it's good for absolutely nothing. That's what I think she said. And Cloud was, well, maybe you don't know how to use it. And Aerith, no, it just doesn't do anything. But as time's gone on, she's realized the importance of her, I guess, her role in the bigger picture, and now is getting a sense, and perhaps has had communication with the planet, that piece of materia is the answer to our problems here. So she's being pulled by something, and like Cloud, she's being pulled by something good, I guess. I guess she's being pulled by the planet, you know. And look at that little wave. That is so sweet. And I like this little running bit as well, because this happens to people in dreams. I've had dreams like this where I'm running and I can't run, and yeah. So it's a nice little representation of that, I think, because I think a lot of people can totally understand that. And look, here we go. And this is a more sort of graphic, I suppose, display of Sephiroth's influence on Cloud. And Cloud doesn't fully understand it yet. And we won't fully understand it. We'll get bits and pieces as the game goes along, and we won't really get an impression of what the hell's going on until actually quite a bit later in the game. And of course, those scenes there also make the gamer question who are they playing. And of course, I'm trying to critique this from the perspective sometimes as a new gamer. It's very difficult to do that. I've played the game for 20 years, but XXL popcorn, nice. Okay, yeah, that's really good. I've actually got like a box of pizza here, but I don't think eating on. Yeah, are you? Sorry, my housemate. You can't eat that pizza, can you? No. Okay. Okay. So yeah, as a new gamer, if you've played this game for the first time ever, I can only imagine that you'd be asking like, "Oh, what? Am I a bad guy? Is that the twist? Maybe." I'm just wondering here. As I've been playing the game, I'm trying to answer Cloud honestly here, and you know what? I don't think he'd be not good, but I think he'd be a little more ambiguous, or so don't really know. And that the first time I ever really played this game and not really knowing what was coming up, that left me with a sense of emptiness. Being told that Aerith is gone, and of course they kind of repeat that again later with Cloud himself, but it's really kind of a gut punch really to lose Aerith in that way. Yep, water. I need that. Well, we've already expressed why she's gone alone. She can't be around Cloud, and yet again she still can't fully express to Cloud what's going on. I think Aerith, more than any other time in the game, of course, now knows. Really, she has more than just a suspicion now, and it goes beyond Cloud not being who he thinks he is. It also goes, I think, to the extent of understanding that Cloud is not in control of his own actions. But, we already got it. We got to go. We have got to go and get her. Ouch, Barrett. Such insensitivity. But he's right, pragmatically, I think, Cloud, if you met someone like this in your actual life, someone who was this messed up, you got to tell them what's going on, surely. There we go, Barrett again with his train journey analogies. So yeah, at the Temple of the Ancients, that's the first time that we really get a sense that Cloud has. That's his first kind of breakdown at the Temple of the Ancients. Or there were kind of two breakdowns there where he seemed to lose control. At least right now, the team know that they want Cloud with them. I don't think they can do this without him. So they're not shunning him. They've not pushed him out right now. Nandavulin, as I said earlier, Cloud has well, again, you know, I know that I might be spoiling this game for some people who might be viewing, and you told me yourself that you haven't played the game, but what I'm going to say is that this is what this stream is about, unfortunately, but, you know, you said I can go ahead. So, Cloud does have Genova cells within him, and that allows Sephiroth to manipulate Cloud. So he doesn't have a monster so much in him, but he doesn't have full control over his own actions, because Sephiroth can influence those Genova cells. I don't think the Genova cells themselves have an awareness or a consciousness. It's just Cloud manipulating them and manipulating him. And that's the only evidence that I see in the game, actually, myself. I don't, in fact, Genova, from my perspective, you know, apart from the actual individual cells, there's no real evidence that Genova is particularly conscious or alert. Although, you know, you could argue certainly otherwise when we're fighting the Genova characters, the Genova enemies later in the game. For instance, Genova Birth, Genova Life, and Genova Death. They appear to be Genova in her own form, but I think even that particular Genova, that set of cells, is under Sephiroth's control, and that Genova's essentially the consciousness, if there ever was one, is gone. She's dead, I think. I mean, that's my... it's a dangerous kind of assumption, maybe, but that's my feeling, because we never really... Well, no, I think there is a point where Genova does actually have a voice, so I think maybe I'm wrong there, but Genova doesn't have a great deal of character. But anyway, the cells within Cloud, they particularly are not conscious. It's a conduit for Sephiroth to control him, and to also control any of the Sephiroth clones which contain the Genova cells for the reunion process. So at least, you know, Barrett's been sympathetic there. If we remember, well, in this playthrough, Tifa's knocked him out, so, you know, they're both going to be quite unsure about it, but there is sympathy. I think this is quite well played. The text, the words that are being used, I think it was really well thought out and put together. So yeah, again, they do care about him, even if they are unsure about him. I think here, just the language that's being used, Barrett and Tifa, or certainly Barrett here, is giving him a way out, giving a way to, I mean, not out, but to move forward, which is a good sign. You know, they could just be like, you know, whoa, you know, but of course, I think actually that does come later. I think that the sheer mistrust does come later. And there, you know, Cloud trying to convince himself with whatever Barrett's had to say. And that's at least what keeps the party together for now. I'm just going to run down here because I know that this is where Zack comes from. So, do these guys have anything else to say? No, not at all. They seem overtly concerned. 10 years. Although we know that 10 years is actually a little long in terms of, at least we know that Zack was at Nibelheim 5 years ago, and only recently would have passed, only in the last sort of, you know, possibly weeks, months, depending on the timeline here, because that's what brings Cloud to Midgar and to meet Tifa again. Right, do I need any high potions or any... Let's have a look, see if these guys... Who sells the high potions? Who's got the items? You got them? Yeah! Accessories. Is there anything useful right now? Okay, so... Sleep, darkness, poison, spirit, frog, small, berserk. I'm still not entirely... I mean, I'm probably going to regret it later if I don't get these things, but... nah. Fury Ring, Berserk. No, not right now. That's fine. We're good. Can't buy any materia. Upstairs, I think this is the weapon shop, annoyingly, and seems quite obvious it's the weapon shop. Again, I don't think there's anything new here at Gongaga. Nothing that I already... okay, wait a minute. Now, of course, for the first time in the game, I'm going to be playing with Barret. And it just makes sense to me that, you know, for now at least, it's going to be Barret, Tifa, Cloud. And as the game progresses, I'll be playing with either, you know, Red 13, Yuffie, Cid, Vincent, Kate Sith, just to get their limit breaks up. And, you know, just kind of that sense of completion again. I'm sure that I'll be coming around to that. Nendabulan, I think you're talking about the Gongaga reactor, right? Yeah, it did destroy that village, it seems, and many people seem to have died. So I've got those. Sadly, can't use that. Got that. I've got everything apart from what are these? Oh, okay. No, that's fine. So I got everything. That's fine. What I do need to do is actually bother to equip, because look at this, I've not updated. Again, I don't need materia, so I might as well give him the most powerful thing he can use right now. Ooh, silver armlet. I don't have a gold. Because I guess technically that other gold armlet is with Aerith, and I can't, you know, it's not dropped off. I still... Dragon armlet, actually, though, makes some kind of sense. Although, should I... what's that? Defense? Magic defense. It's pretty heavy. 5847. Ooh, that's pretty sweet. That's pretty cool, actually. Although, who does it matter more for? Who's losing out here? I'm going to give it to Barret for now. I think he's also lower level, technically, right now. I can't type in chat right now, Nandyvillain, because I think I've got one screen on top of another. Red Jacket, what's he called again? You mean not President Shinra? Okay, here we go. Wait a minute, equip. Barret. Yep. Oh, that's right. Protect versus Vitality plus 10. I don't feel that that's the best thing to be using. Dexterity, yes. I think there was a stream where I was kind of questioning what the hell that is, but it's just, it's your speed. So in other games like Dark Souls, I think it's your ability to use certain weapons, and also maybe tied to your character speed, actually, but I'm not entirely sure. But in this game, it is your ATB bar, how fast that goes up. So... I don't know. Spirit plus 10. I keep forgetting exactly what these do. I think Spirit is your magic defense. It's attached to your magic defense. Oh, Genesis, Nendabulan. You mean Genesis from Crisis Core? Yeah. I don't think he destroyed any cities, did he? I know they go to Gongaga in Crisis Core, but I didn't. I kind of skipped through it. I just wanted to kind of get to the main chunk of the story, and I think that's where Zack meets Cisne, and I think meets Dr. Hollander and Genesis. I think yeah, I can't remember too well. As I say, I'm not a great fan of Crisis Core. I think it's just a mess. Okay, so. Yeah, I'll give him that because he's not going to be great anyway, generally. With he's now going to be should be pretty good with magic defense there. Anyway, let's move on because it's not a big deal, I think. Ugh. Oh, there it is. There's a tiny bunker. Now, I've definitely got all the enemy skills here. I guess really we just want to kind of get on with things, you know. There's no reason to not get on with things. I'll just pick up enemy skills. I'm gonna pick up enemy skills as I go along, if I remember to do so. That's been one of my problems, actually, is remembering to do certain things. And I think, again, that is much to do with the fact that I'm still learning how to talk and stream and focus on the game at the same time. So I think I've made some errors. For instance, I didn't play. I didn't get Aerith's Great Gospel to play off. Also, I think I killed the dragon and the gate too quickly, in my opinion, and too easily. There we go. Now, so that's near where Rocket Town is, isn't it? I think. So I guess I'm just trying to think about what the gamer would be doing. Yeah, I guess uptime. I think that kind of stuff. I don't know how Twitch generally works. This is stuff I'm still learning as well. You know, what kind of how does the chat work in terms of the video and what the because I've seen other people obviously have those things available. So I'm gonna figure that stuff out for the future. But right now I'm trying to think. So we were told by Aerith. Aerith told Cloud in the dream that we are to go to the... Well, no, not to go to, because she doesn't want us to follow her, I think. But she's going to go to the capital of the Ancients, the Forgotten Capital. Or the City of the Ancients, which is the Forgotten Capital. And that she was at the Sleeping Forest. But there was no idea about where any of that stuff was. It was just, I suppose, if earlier in the game... If you did explore, and I didn't because I kind of know what's already around, there's no reason for me to do so. I know where Temple of the Ancients is, I knew where, how to get from point A to B. But if you do end up exploring and going all the way around here, the first time that you get the Tiny Bronco, you could end up at Wutai, you could end up here, you could end up finding, you'd probably end up looking all the way around and checking out all of what's accessible within the shallow water. And I guess right now that's certainly what's called for. So I suppose, in a way, the game mechanic it's demanding that you have to explore. And that's okay, because it is, that openness is an illusion, and it's certainly still linear. You're still being driven to one place, and you probably would have come to the northern continent when you first got the Tiny Bronco, just just for the sense of exploration. Then you would have come here, and then you would have found out that you couldn't go any further yet. I think that's the case. Okay. Let's just save, actually, a second. After everything that's happened. Okay. And look at that. I just getting a sense of what's over there. I don't know if I can... go through the forest, why not? And you can end up down here, but you can't go down there, of course. I mean, I guess right now, if I really think about it, technically we are traveling through the Sleeping Forest, but I guess that's a bit of an oversight, actually, allowing you to go through this and then get here, because technically that's what you end up doing, just from within here instead. Okay, so... let us go on. I guess that would be a natural question. Well, yeah, but where is it? I mean, I've asked him already, but... Oh, okay, so he doesn't actually answer our question. Okay. And of course, I will be returning to this part later to kind of fulfill some of the little, little quests. For instance, Aerith's... Gotta be careful here, because I want to make sure that I have the... Sorry, Tifa's ultimate weapon is in Midgar. And so we will need the keycard, which you can pick up here if you perform the mini game. What have they got to sell? Anything of... Ooh, yeah. Diamond bangles. Lovely. Makes sense. In fact, it really does... I don't think I'll buy any for Barret. It does make sense right now. That's fine. Rune armlet. What's the difference there, I wonder? I mean... If I buy... Oh no, that's going to be far too expensive just to kind of figure out what's going on. If I buy one... Wait a minute, what did I... Yeah, okay. I got high potions. That's right, I did want to buy some of those. Did I forget to do that last time? I'm going to go another 10. A couple of ethers. It's probably a bit too much, but that's fine. There we go, we're good. And then we talk to this guy. Oh, wait a minute, before I do. Not right now, just let me check what the... so it's called the Diamond Bangle, so these guys can have that now. There you go. And the Diamond Bangle. I just want to check. Yeah, good, good, good. How's our old materia doing? Oh, wow, we're going to get to level 4 in 1223 APs. That's really good. Ooh. Wait a minute. Good point. Look at all that. Oh, lovely. She already has an all level 4. So hopefully we should be able to... That's a lot of alls to kind of hopefully sell later, because this is on double. I think that's on double, is that right? Yeah, it's on a double slots. What I need to do, though, is... Yes, exchange. I need to go and... it's an odd one, but we can... No, wait a minute. Oh, no. Wow. Oh, wait. Arrange. Tell me that Aerith did not take... No, she didn't. That's good. So she doesn't have the enemy skill. That's really good. Good to know. Nothing else we can use. Nope. Okay, good. I was a little worried then that Aerith wasn't accessible and that she took our magic, which, of course, doesn't happen. Okay. So what I'm going to say is, in this playthrough, I am going to end after the Forgotten Capital. So I'll end it there, and then I'll pick up again tomorrow and play on, which I believe is through the glacier and up to the northern crater. Oh, what am I doing? Wait a minute. Blah. This is where I kind of drift off sometimes and don't think about what I'm doing. Start digging. Just the Lunar Harp right now. Okay, so... I don't know. Boing. Go. I think generally it ends up at the top here. I don't think I've ever had it so it's not at the top. So I'm just going to kind of place them around as evenly as I can. There we go. One here. I forgot how many people you can put out here, but again, nice little mini game. Shows attention to detail. It's an extra bit of programming that it had to go through. You know, it wasn't something that you could simply go get or even say fight for. They had to create a whole different little game almost to oh no. Okay, whatever. Only 3 up here. Hopefully this will be enough. What? Okay, so what? You're like there-ish, but then that line is what, there? It's like here. Okay, come on. If I don't have it, I'll be kind of annoyed. What's in the box? I do hope it's not Gwyneth Paltrow's head. Yay! Lunar Harp. Excellent. So I'm not going to bother with anything else down here. Do they say anything different? Well, no, I have the Lunar Harp now. Although I think the Lunar Harp goes missing after you've used it, so I guess they are perpetually searching for the Lunar Harp. Some of my favourite music again. When was the last time we heard this music? Was this back at the Mithril Cave? Or the Mithril Mines on the East Continent. Just after Chocobo Farm. After the Midgar Zolom. This music is so... Again, it's... Yeah, Nobuo Uematsu just creating tension, and he does it so well here, and increased tension with the music at the Forgotten Capital, which is some of the saddest and yet almost threatening pieces of music in the game. It's almost like it's telling you kind of something's wrong. It's saying to you, you know, something serious is going to happen. I think that's what I feel with the music. And every time I've heard the music at the Forgotten Capital, I just think, oh, it's yeah, the feels exactly Nandebulan it is. Now here is Kajata. I can't use Kajata, but I kind of want to just kind of get it because I can. There it is. Go, get it, yeah. Again, a sense of completion, but nothing I can do about it right now. I can't use it. And it's a fantastic looking summon. It's one of my favorites. Again, I don't know if I mentioned this on my last stream or the stream that I've deleted, just because I screwed up with the sound. It didn't work. But Kajata is a great example, like Titan, like Phoenix, of really clever programming in terms of the way that they can ripple or affect the textures that are already available in the battle scene. So no matter what battle scene you're on, they affect the ground the same way. So Titan picks up the ground and flips it up. It's a fantastic looking scene. Kajata rears its legs and slams its feet down and then ripples the ground, which is just a really, really cool effect considering you know, the age of the PlayStation. You know, the kind of sort of morphing geometry in real time. That's really cool. And then you have Phoenix, where it's similar again. You've got a rippling effect, as if the ground becomes water with the little golden drop. Exceptional work there. And I just, right now, I can't use any of these things, even for fun, because it would actually fail the run. Even though the run isn't really adding any greater depth to the challenge right now, which is, I was really hoping otherwise. Water ring. Because I got a fire ring. Does it make sense to equip the water ring? I think it does. Yes, it does, because where do we get the fire ring from? Anyway, the fire ring certainly will be helpful against the Midgar Zolom later, whenever I get the chance to go down there. But the water ring, I think, if I really think carefully, will help us with Genova Life, who I think is water-based this time round, and also has an enemy skill for us, so I need to be mindful of that. And so who do you not want to get hit? I'm going to give it to Cloud. Why not? Gotta give it to someone. What I really want to kind of say about the Forgotten Capital, and yes, the music is kind of disturbing and creepy once we get there, but also this environment here, clearly inspired by coral, by sort of underwater environments. You know, here we have sort of, what are they called here? But yeah, these underwater creatures here, what are they called? Mole dancers. Again, probably a literal translation, not very helpful. So yeah, well, they're kind of like seahorses, aren't they? And it's you know, so we have this underwater theme which is occurring, and yet not just underwater. We have the idea of underwater as these things are dead. We have dead coral. We have things that are dried up, and it sells further the idea, for me perfectly, the idea that the ancients really are the ancients for a reason. They existed 2,000 years ago, you know, and the land from which they come here is just getting across just how ancient and dead that civilization is, and it was an inspired idea to use sort of this, you know, under the surface of the sea, sort of, you know, coral sort of environment. Fantastic. And yes, the enemies themselves are also representative of that. Okay, come on you. Let's just get rid. I mean, their water is so... I don't have a fire attack. Oh no, I've got flamethrower, but it doesn't attack everything. Trine is lightning, but it should cause some damage. But yes, you just get this impression of decay, of just lifelessness. Yet, what is great about the Forgotten Capital is you also get a sense of, and this is what one of the developers actually talked about, you get a sense that it was lived in. You get a sense that, and they do that with all the environments anyway in Final Fantasy VII. You go to environments, you can see trash on the floor, you can see ornaments and furniture and all these assets. It's fantastic. Stuff they couldn't properly do in Final Fantasy VI due to the repeated textures. And that was another point as well I want to kind of just suggest that I'll come back around to that in a moment actually. But yeah, just right now with the environment, you get a sense that something was here. When we get to the Forgotten Capital, you'll see what I mean. Of course, people who have played the game know what I mean, I think. That it had a sense that people were there. It's trying to get across to you that they're all gone now. They're all dead, and it's sad. It's extremely sad, and the music is just painful. But yeah, you see kind of the ancient sort of furniture or ornamentation. It's so alien and different to anything we've seen up to this point. And what I wanted to say about, in comparison to Final Fantasy VI, is I think the developers, in the interviews I've read, made it clear really that it wasn't that they didn't have, say, time in Final Fantasy VI to create all the different pieces of scenery or tiles or textures or assets. Actually, the problem was the SNES's memory and the cartridge. There just wasn't any space to hold any of it, really, in the end. They made a massive game as it was with Final Fantasy VI, and I think they pushed the capacity to its limit, or near enough. And yeah, clearly the evidence is that if they wanted to create vast amounts of unique imagery, and that's what they did here with Final Fantasy VII. And I think there was one of the art directors for Chrono Trigger who worked on Final Fantasy VII. There is what's called a trial scene in Chrono Trigger, and the scene itself is a non-repeated, non-tile sort of full-screen scene, so everything is kind of unique. And it was one of the first examples of what they were trying, or what they would have liked to have achieved on the SNES, and of course what they were completely able to achieve using CDs and the amount of space that CDs afford on the PlayStation. And of course obviously the amount of memory on the PlayStation was quite significantly improved over a SNES. Anyway, let's move on. And look at this, again, inspired, and the parallax kind of scrolling there, just again giving a sense that you are going somewhere. And that I just want to kind of make note of that sort of structure at the center. Again, a coral-like structure, but again, dead. Just informing us, really, we've got this kind of skeletal nature occurring, skeletal corals, skeletal sort of sheets of almost what appear to have been life forms themselves. Wonderful. And that's what Forgotten Capital really is selling for me. It is selling the idea that something was here a long time ago, but it's no longer here, and it's very sad. Ooh, of course, now I have all 4 of these. I've got Media Drive, which is really great. So we have progressed a little bit further. Is she going to kill that thing? Because I was wondering if I should bother to manipulate it with Cloud. Should I bother to manipulate anything right now? Is he going to... Ah! Look at that damn rocket punch that he has. Look at it, it's really cool looking. And I usually don't use it, but because I'm not using any materia really in this game, apart from the enemy skill and manipulate materia, I can afford to use things that I normally wouldn't have bothered with. Alright, so I'm going to save it here. Duh! No, not you. That one. Alright. And as I say tonight, I will be playing up till the end of the Forgotten Capital. And here we are, and this is it. This is where it begins. The music, the tone, it's so unsettling and so deeply sad. Simply because we're coming to a place where people used to live, used to thrive, probably. Although the Citra, or the Ancients, were an itinerant race. They moved around. They seem to have had their capital, and here it is. You know, many, maybe even thousands. Of course, I think 2,000 years after the fact of their demise, thereabouts. Well, look at this desolation, decay. And I can't deal with it. This part of the game is almost so. It's been one of the most difficult parts of the game to play, and also it's one of the most difficult parts to play because we know what happens here. We know what's coming up. I think we tie certainly veterans of the game, tie our experiences here to the music, to the environment. It's all spelling decay and death, and what once was here is gone. Ooh, another save point, okay. Oh yeah, you can come out the back, of course. But before I do that, I want to go up here and get this box. And look, again, that under the sea theme continues, sort of clamshells on the wall, strange features and sort of sand. Gorgeous, really. But again, dead. I'm just gonna, this thing here, of course, we can click on it, can't we? Can we? Yep. And that's kind of a cool idea. Again, kind of getting across the idea that these people were not like us. They were nothing like us. Oh, excuse me, crikey. Okay, well, Nandi Bulan, as I say, I'm going to come to the end of what I should probably say is, number one, you know, get hold of it in a legal fashion. I should probably say that. But also, yeah, the end of, you know, I'll be coming to the end of this probably within the next sort of 45 minutes, I think, certainly. Just as a heads up, and then you will have time to watch that film. I won't worry, okay. Okay. That's right, how about... kind of forgotten how to get down there this time. Is it through the... No, okay. No, not you, I've already been there, sorry. Again, just sometimes I forget exactly how you get anywhere. Oh, they both had this. What the? I'm really confused. What the hell's going on? Ah! Oh, okay. So there are just two weird sections there that you can use. Oh, wait a minute. There's a set of stairs there. I'm being a dork. Here we go. Yeah, Nandi Bilan, I think I've got probably, certainly no more than an hour here, because I think what's upcoming is gonna kind of, as my streams tend to last between 3 and 5 hours, and I think sometimes it's just nice to end a stream on a tidy sort of, you know, as it fits the narrative of the game. And you know, we've got other things to be getting on with. You have that other, you know, you've got the film to watch as well, which is it's a good film. You know, I'm quite critical of it in many ways, but you know, it's great for a fan of Final Fantasy VII like me, and you, I'm sure. And you know, it's just a wonderful piece of art, and it really did define what we might be expecting to see in a remake. And that remake, thank goodness, is going to happen. Cannot wait. I can't wait. Really can't. You know what? I really, again, wasn't like paying attention to what I just picked up. What did I just pick up? I don't know. Whatever. It's probably something really cool, and I just like, you know, ignored. Guard source. Yeah. And I guess now I can share these sources out a little more, well, not cleverly or anything, just as to what fits my style at the moment. I think I used a few for Aerith earlier, and of course they are kind of, you know, wasted-ish in the bigger picture, but Okay. I love this. The inspiration. It's so inspired. I'm not going to go to bed yet. This is going to be really freaking dull. I feel like... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What did they just say? Because you can't... That means you can't go to bed yet. Wait, no. Because if you sleep, you miss out on just one tiny little detail. And it's just... You know, I think I'm wasting time. I should really just go and sleep. It's great. You can go up here at least, and the game will prevent you from going this way, which is good. Just kind of keeps you focused on what your current mission is. But yes, those mountains we will be heading to in my next stream. Now, what's on this side? There we go. So just, you know, more detail, more sort of an idea of this little environment, which is really wonderful. And we come back here, of course, later, way later in the game, to get a sense of what the hell really happened before we got here, or during the time we got here, anyway. Because we don't fully understand what Aerith is capable of doing. And I spoke earlier about the fact that she made a decision, but certainly to leave the party. But we don't know quite how she is going to figure it out. And of course, that becomes apparent to the team, yeah, later on. Now, I know I'm being a little time-consuming here, because I know that if I'd have gone to sleep in that little sort of shell house, then we would have progressed quicker, but I just like the little... whether it's pointless or not, I just like the little detail here as well. So I don't know why, it's a little static actually when I think about it. Look at this place. And of course we've seen these... you can read all these, can you? No, maybe not. There we go. So it's an odd one. I don't quite fully understand the direction here. For instance, we've come here and, okay, there's no impression of where else to go. You go, oh, okay, well, you know, there's a fish there, and it looks like it looks like a little pool, maybe? It's an odd one. Anyway, then you leave, but the fact is you've got to sleep before you can progress. Of course, you're gonna eventually, and everyone does, you figure that out pretty quickly, probably, but it's an old game mechanic, which probably would be done differently in the remake. They probably wouldn't make you go there, then sleep, then go back again. I've done it just for the purposes of seeing everything that I can see, if I remember to see it in the game. I was never entirely fully sure of what was going on here, but because again the proportions are strange, but I get the impression that what's lined along beneath the coral there are little huts and houses, and even where over this little bridge here, that there are little houses, and you know, that have all sort of they're just ruins now of homes, of the ancient homes, or certainly possibly and here it's kind of enlarged, you know, everything kind of, you know, Cloud looks really small now in comparison to everything that's around him. Again, it's a minor critique of which was this one? The wrong one. Yeah, that's the wrong one, sorry. It's a minor critique of what would then eventually change in Final Fantasy VIII, when everything would be well proportioned, and you know, there wouldn't be really any example of environments which are incorrectly proportioned to with regard to the characters, in relation to the characters. Okay, so here we go. I think actually that playing that music right now doesn't really fit as well. Maybe they could have pulled that out. I would argue that they probably won't do that in the remake either, but you know, because look at the tension here. It's kind of a bit strange. You've gone through that really tense music to that little soft sleeping music, then to this tension, this anxiety. I think this piece is called Anxiety. Of course, Cloud certainly can feel that Sephiroth is around, probably just be due to the Genova cells, but Aerith, well, perhaps Aerith, you know, there's a relationship between Cloud and Aerith. It's not laid out, you know, in the game particularly that they have some sort of spiritual connection, but you know, you can believe certainly that Aerith can communicate with Cloud, as she did through his dream after the Temple of the Ancients when she left. But okay. And so this is the bit, yeah, as I say, you have to sleep, you have to go to sleep first, and then you can finally, you know, move on. And you can see that it's now darker, it's sort of essentially nighttime, and it's one of the few times actually when there's an idea of a there you go, Aerith's voice. It's an interesting detail. Something that I often forget about actually, that they hear Aerith's voice right now. But yeah, the day-night cycle, of course there isn't really one in Final Fantasy VII. It didn't really need one either, but it's just that little scene there, it gives a sense of change, it gives a sense of, you know, I think it's really important because it's the only time that it actually happens in the game, and I think it's foreboding, it's a foreshadowing that something is coming up. And of course we know this scene, we know this scene from Advent Children. It's where the remnants bring the children, and I'm so glad that in many ways that they maintained the look of, at least, and in fact improved upon the look of the Forgotten Capital. One of my, of course, I've already spoken about the choral aspects, you know, the choral, the decay, the under the sea theme. I'm not entirely sure if that stands out so much in Advent Children, but and here we can now see that the fish, that little fish that was there, is gone, and we've got these stairs now in place, and then this surprising little place right underneath. And coming up, one of the pivotal moment. I think I missed one pivotal moment through the playthrough, and that was before this stream, but I'm going to get this one. I think I'm going to get it down, because it is the pivotal moment in Final Fantasy VII. It is one of the most pivotal moments in gaming history coming up right now, so it's powerful, it is exceptional, and I don't know many games that pull this off as well, with such aplomb, with such polish, with such emotional resonance. And perhaps for the third time, we see Cloud lose control of himself. I would say, Nandibulan, that I don't have much of this stream left. I mean, what's coming up now is really probably near the end, so I might have been a little sort of, yeah, generous on the over generous on the timing from before, but we'll see how we feel after. I think, you know, I might play through. We'll see. You remember this scene? Yeah, it is a memorable scene, and if you've not played the game, then a lot of people have seen this anyway, simply because they hear about it. A lot of gamers know about this, even if they've not played Final Fantasy VII. Here right now, this is the influence that Sephiroth is exerting via the Genova cells. That music, again, it is the sort of the nasty sort of underbelly of what's going on here. We've got Cloud, not entirely sure of who he is, doesn't even realise what's ultimately going on. Okay, sorry, I shouldn't really laugh there, but you know, this whole scene is just wonderful. And you know what? It's clever again, and I heard someone else speak about this. I think it was Lawrunner, actually, and so I want to give him credit for pointing this out as well. That you control the character. The game is forcing you to make these moves, much like Sephiroth is forcing Cloud to make these moves right now. So pay attention. So, you know, you've now got the sword, you can walk around. You know, what am I doing? What is Cloud doing? And you can sort of shuffle aside. You can kind of move your body around, actually, it's interesting. and you can slowly start moving the sword. And you as a player are wondering, what am I going to be doing next? And, you know, veterans know, but what about new players? How did you first feel when you saw this? I didn't get what the hell was going on when I first saw this. You hear Cloud struggling. You as a player, out of control completely. Cloud out of control completely. And just there, right there. And somehow his friends snapping him out of it. And here we're just going to watch this scene now. I'm going to be quiet through this. Citron, I actually got those links, but if you could send those again, that would be really helpful. Thank you very much. That's really great. Yeah. I mean, this music's already played in the game earlier. Is that the case? Am I wrong? Have I gone mad? Yes, it has played. Of course it has. It played well when Elmira was telling us the story of how she found Aerith. But it's Aerith's theme. It's her beautifully sad theme, and it plays so powerfully here. It's just the perfect amalgamation of imagery, of storytelling, narrative, and music. And that is... I don't even care that the graphics... I feel more for these characters than a lot of, you know, even really well done films with real people. And that is the power of storytelling, and it's happening right there. Because Nandabulan... right now, Sephiroth knows something about Cloud. He knows that Cloud contains Jenova cells. He knows that Cloud, unbeknownst to himself, is taking part in the Jenova reunion. So yes, as Citron's right, he needs Cloud. Well, for one thing, he needs Cloud because he can control Cloud, and he can use him, influence him, with regard to his reunion and his actual... using the black materia later in the game. So yeah, and this is why we will see in a moment the words of, I think it's Jenova's words directly actually, so Jenova here seems to present with some consciousness. I won't say what they are, we'll see them in a moment after what's coming. And also I think what helps here with this scene is the actual animations. The cutesiness here, for once, really, actually, I think works in some kind of favor. Of course, the remake is going to work in its favor with being well-proportioned characters, facial animations, voice acting. But here, we're allowed to kind of imagine how these people are feeling. We're allowed to imagine what their expressions are. We're allowed to imagine what their voices sound like, their tone. You know, how does Cloud sound right now? He must be completely choked up over this, broken. And I think just the cutesiness, it makes, you know, you have in the last, however long, I mean, how many hours I've been playing this now, but the last 20 years, just this, the whole run-up to this, you have fallen in love with these characters, unless there's something wrong with you. No, you know, not wrong with you, but you know what I mean. It's those who you know, love Final Fantasy love these characters. And again, that's a game mechanic, but that's our direction, that's where we're headed. And of course the Promised Land for Sephiroth is a very different kind of Promised Land as the Citrons intended, as the Ancients intended. Again, it's neither a literal place for anyone, including Sephiroth. It's just it's a state of being, and Sephiroth's state of being is to meld with the planet, whereas the Promised Land for people like Aerith and the Cetrons, those who are able to maintain their will within the life stream, it's a place of bliss. It's a sort of nirvana or a moksha, depending again on your points of view. And that is Sephiroth just rubbing it in right there, you know. We know that we've lost Aerith. She's now going to become part of the planet. Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Citron. I didn't really think about that. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't even get the chance to. I got it. I actually ended up with the Great Gospel, but because I kind of forgot to wait for Aerith to use the limit break, we didn't see it during the stream, so that's kind of annoying. But anyway, yeah, you're right. It is, isn't it? It's such a broken limit break when we think about it. Look at that, really just smooth animations, you know. Obviously nothing like what we have today, but they were thoughtful. The animators were being really thoughtful with how to move Cloud, just the way he looked around to Aerith there, from Sephiroth to Aerith. The way he holds her to him there, you know, it's just so, you know, it's stuff that I haven't really thought about before. You know, when you watch the scene, it washes over you unconsciously, but when you break it down, you can see just how much care and attention was put into this scene, the most pivotal scene in this game, and in, you know, one of the most pivotal scenes in all of gaming. Gotta be honest, it is really hitting hard, this scene, even after all these years, and even though I'm speaking right now about it, it still gets me. And these lines here by Cloud, which are almost made invalid by Sephiroth. I completely agree, Citron. I think that's part of Nobuo Uematsu's magic, in terms of he wanted to get across a greater deal of emotion with the music this time around. And I still think this is his greatest work. I'm not saying that's an objective point, but I certainly believe it to be the case, that it's his greatest work. And look at that, just standing right up. The anger. Of course, Sephiroth's understanding of Cloud is in itself flawed. He believes Cloud just to be a pure clone, nothing more. He believes him to be a bunch of Genova cells, and that Cloud isn't at all real. And that is kind of part of the twist, in a way, that we have that twist, then we have the other twist that happens later. So we kind of get told about the nature of Cloud twice. In fact, 3 times. We get his initial nature, where where we start the game with him. Then we start to learn about the second nature, that Sephiroth can control him. Why? Well, we learn later that, you know, Genova cells, he is a clone, etc. Then the third nature, I won't talk about that right now, I'll talk about that way later, but of course the third nature is the real Cloud. And remember that line, Sephiroth telling him, because Cloud you are, and we don't know yet what he was going to say, we'll find out after this fight. Hopefully I'm not going to end up dead here. Big guard, let's just get on with it. One of these guys had to, it's the water ring with I cured him, there you go, so that was a really good idea to stick that in there. Not a big deal, but still. I need to make sure that I get Aqualung though, so I'm not going to be trying to kill Genova just yet. I need to really pay attention. And yes, as noted by other great reviewers of the game and people who played the game, the music continues to play while you're fighting Genova Life. That's right, it's Genova Life. I think I made the mistake earlier of saying this is Genova Birth, but of course we fought Genova Birth on the boat, on the ship from Junon. What's happening with Barrier? Okay. Barrett has his limit break, but again, I'm... Aqualung, great, that's it. So now, just want to make sure that everyone is... Yeah. That these guys have enough going on. And then, yeah, the rest is now all about just throwing this crap back at her. I don't think the question mark's going to do anything. This is Jenova. Nenda Bulen. As I said earlier, I think my argument that she doesn't have a consciousness, that this is just a bunch of cells, but I think really there seems to be some sort of being here, and but yes, this is what Jenova. Basically, the Sephiroth that we've been seeing, even the Sephiroth we see now that has killed Aerith, that was actually Jenova killing Aerith, and then just turning back into this form. It's not entirely made clear to players of the game the first time round, I think. But yes, all along we've been following Jenova up to this point, or at least Jenova's cells, which are under the influence of Sephiroth from the northern crater. Is this even... I don't even know what Aqualung would do here, actually. I'm going to put Big Guard back on again, I'm pretty sure. Yep. That's probably going to cure her, isn't it? Ah, no, it's reflect. What was I thinking? No, that was really... Okay, that was fortunate. It reflected back at Cloud. And he has the water ring, so that was really good. Again, this isn't hard right now. This is, I can actually take my damn time, which is, but hey. It's okay. So in many ways, Jenova couldn't even kill me, because I don't think it's even possible. Is there even an effect? Flamethrower would make sense, actually, of course. Yeah, just trying to remember really, but it looks like everything that Jenova's doing is water damage. Cloud has the water ring. Oh, gosh. Pathetic. Oh, stop using magic when it's... oh, this is going to hurt this time around. Okay, just physical attacks. I don't have Dispel. I can't use the Destruct Materia, which Sephiroth threw at me. Where's the HP of Jenova? You can't actually see HP in the game of the enemies unless you scan them. Do I have scan? Either way, I can't use scan because it's a materia that I've blocked myself off from using in this run. Again, that was very easy, and even with characters that I have not been overtly grinding with at all, in fact, at all, really. Aerith was the only character that I actually grinded. And this is, you know, just to kind of continue from there, Sephiroth said, you know, because Cloud you are, and then Jenova continues. And, you know, this is... Even if it's Jenova anyway, presenting as Sephiroth. Sephiroth, when it's in Sephiroth's image, that is Sephiroth speaking to us through Jenova. And this is kind of stating that Jenova itself, herself, has its own consciousness, at least as the whole form that we've been battling and that we will battle again later on another 2 occasions, I think. And that Cloud here, because you are a puppet, again, feeding in, I mean, it feeds in terms of, you know, puppet on the strings, on, you know, the way that Sephiroth seems to have been controlling Cloud, his behaviors. So a puppet, but why is he a puppet? That's not clear to us. We've had some hints from Hojo that maybe, you know, I believe it was down at the beach on Costa del Sol, you know, would you like to be my guinea pig? And he's kind of snickering away to himself. So that there have been little hints strewn about that something, of course, that Cloud isn't all that he seems. So we're getting a bigger picture here that Cloud is Cloud. What is Cloud? And I understand that, of course, each character in the game, depending on who you bring here, has a different reaction to Aerith. I particularly like Tifa's. Just the little animation where she cuts her face. I just think that's really, really lovely. And, you know, strokes her hair. You can see the intention there behind that piece of animation, and it is gorgeous. Kind of thing we won't really see anymore because they don't make games like this anymore, and there are obviously a lot of reasons as to why they don't. But they've taken a lot of care here with the animation, picking up Aerith. An example of where they may not have taken care of animation was where Cloud picked up Priscilla. No, it was the old man at the town beneath Junon. The old man picks up Priscilla, the girl who is unconscious from drowning, and it looks a bit silly, but here it's really well done. And here, that CG scene is one of the most memorable CG scenes in all of gaming history. I'm not going to say it's the most memorable, of course, but it's. I imagine it's somewhat ubiquitous in the memories and the minds of so many gamers, no matter what generation of gaming you hail from, really. And this is where I think Barrett and Tifa start to display a little less trust in Cloud, but of course we don't get that full blown until a little bit later, I think, which is coming up, because that's the point. It's getting there. So Cloud already spoke about this earlier, but this time his resolve seems to be there, maybe in memory or in tribute to Aerith. He can't just give up, otherwise it's all in vain. Whatever Aerith was trying to do, what was she doing here? Of course we know, veteran players will know what she was doing here. And that's the thing. We do find out, but, it's unclear. But this is why I think Aerith, the argument for her being the true hero of this game, the true, pure, brave, courageous, resilient character, pure at heart, all that stuff, where everyone else is conflicted, broken. Aerith really had the biggest impact in terms of the end. No, Nandibulan, I don't think any time anyone's really thinking that they'll never surpass anything, but one thing I will say is that there's a difference between art design, art direction, and game graphics, and I think there must have been a point where graphics and art direction just went up together and they met, and that's the point where you can, it's probably somewhere in the 90s, I think, where things became clear enough that you could see both the art direction and that it still rivals games today in terms of art direction, and yet graphics, of course, surpass, but doesn't necessarily mean, or is it, that's how it works? It's not going to be like that, it's more, yeah, who cares? Well, if you've seen the remake trailer from last year, Nandibulan, then you'll see that they've really taken a huge leap. And it stands up with the best of gaming today. That is the remake. Let's go. And there it is, end of part 1, which was traditionally end of the first disc of the game on the PlayStation. So I'm going to save that, clearly. There we go. And that is where I'm going to end it for tonight. So I think that it really is a natural end point. We've done Temple of the Ancients. I've explained myself for the mistakes I made yesterday, and hopefully that's enough. And we've now completed the Forgotten Capital, and we'll be moving on to the mountains and the Northern Crater. Well, the ice field, then the mountains, then the Northern Crater. So yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to apart from that. Hopefully you've enjoyed the stream. I've noticed this time a couple more people actually watched the stream. There was a sort of a maximum number, actually, which is pretty cool. So clearly, a few more people are watching. People are kind of just dipping in, dipping out, and seeing what's going on, which is really nice. And I'll say thanks to you people who have been watching, particularly Nandibulan, Citron. Thanks for watching. And as I say, I'm likely to be back tomorrow, probably a bit later, more like in the evenings, probably somewhere around about maybe 11 or 12 actually. That's 11 or 12 GMT. So yeah, hopefully thank you for enjoying it. I think it's really just, as I say, this is what's happening really. It's about me kind of analyzing, critiquing, and trying to put my own ideas on what's going on, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. So basically, I'm playing the game, I'm enjoying the game, and it's just otherwise I'd be enjoying the game alone, or I can enjoy the game on Twitch, and that's what I'm choosing to do right now. Anyway, so I'm going to say good night, and as I say, hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. So yeah, bye guys, see you later.